Starfield gameplay details continue to come out, as well as those Starfield gameplay reactions. My initial reactions were mostly good, with some concerns about performance and other things in the game that looked pretty dated. I actually was going to do a reaction video to Digital Foundry's video where they looked at the game and everything that the game has to offer and analyzing sort of the next generation elements of the game, but I couldn't find anybody that consistently used Digital Foundry footage or videos on YouTube. We didn't want to risk showing the video and having like a takedown request or something, because some YouTube channels, they don't play nice when you do reaction content. I don't know if Digital Foundry does or not. I didn't see a good way to get into touch with them, so I decided to do a video just sort of about how I think I was wrong about certain elements of what this game looks like, with comparisons mainly to Fallout being something that many people are doing. We've already sort of dealt with the Starfield No Man's Sky comparisons. I think some of those are fine. I think most of them are overstated. However, the Starfield being space Fallout, or it looking too much like Fallout, is something that I myself have said quite a bit, as well as many others. So I've got a quick outline about what I've sort of changed my mind about here for the beginning of the video, and then we'll get into a discussion with the live audience. If you're not here for live streams, make sure and hit subscribe and the bell button so you don't miss the live streams and the discussions. The VODs are always there for you to watch as well. This is a Reforge update. Starfield gameplay has elements in it that I think I might have been wrong about based on a Digital Foundry video that sort of changed my mind about certain things. I still have my concerns about performance and other aspects of Starfield, but I have seen some things and some comparisons that I'll be doing some side-by-side with the live audience over on Reforge Gaming, so go check out that VOD if you missed the live show. Also, make sure and hit subscribe and the bell button on Reforge updates if you like these quick videos. So my initial thoughts about Starfield were mostly good. It was sort of a negative response from the community after their big showcase during the Xbox Bethesda showcase. The good that I saw was it did seem like a graphically strong game. It seemed pretty massive. The characters in the world looked pretty good. I saw tons of depth and opportunities when they started showing the crafting and the skill trees and how you could build your own ship. I was actually kind of struck by the space combat. I'm not really a space combat guy, and I thought it looked pretty good. Now, that's where some of the No Man's Sky comparisons started to come in, but if you really look at the history of games that do space combat, No Man's Sky hasn't done anything that unique comparatively to the history of games that let you sort of fly in a 3D space and get into a space fight. Now, the bad things that I saw, there was performance issues. Gunplay looked really dated. It really reminded me of Fallout. Fallout's not exactly a game that people play for the gunplay, and a lot of people just started to say it looks like Fallout in space. This obviously starts to create that negative narrative of they just took Fallout, decided to do another Fallout, and then, they threw it in space, and then many people are starting to think about what exactly they did wrong with the last game, Fallout 76, and then those graphical comparisons start to be made. Now, the only people that I saw doing a very good side-by-side was Digital Foundry. The Digital Foundry video did, I think, an excellent job showcasing this is what Fallout 4 looked like, this is what other games have done with draw distance and shadows and shading and detail, and it really showed that Starfield will look significantly better than anything we've seen up to this point from Bethesda. They pointed out graphical enhancements in sort of the micro ways and little ways in certain instances. Then they showed these sort of big enhancements that they've done with draw distance and details that are out pretty far. Now, that is part of my concern, though, that the actual performance issues of the game could be related to the fact that they're just pushing the graphics too far. The Xbox Series S has been reported to not quite have the memory that developers want to see, and that could be one of the dilemmas with the Starfield delay, optimizing it for a weaker system. The world and the characters are significantly upgraded. We have people sort of taking awkward screenshots of the one NPC, the one woman, and trying to make it look like the NPCs are going to be sort of derpy or cross-eyed and not look that good. But if you look at every single NPC character in this game and then compare it to Fallout 4, there is a dramatic difference, and that's what Digital Foundry did. It really impressed me that, wow, our memory can get so shaded and so jaded. I remember Fallout 4 looking good, and thinking that, yeah, Starfield pretty much looks up to par for Fallout 4 characters. It actually looks, I would say, 10 times better than any of the characters I saw in Fallout 4. Even when they showed character customization, that traditional sort of opening in Fallout where you're in front of the mirror, that was sort of a big step for people to say, wow, that looks very realistic, that looks very good. So that video really changed my mind. I think Fallout 76 is sort of like a shadow over Bethesda and Starfield, sort of like Cyberpunk. Nobody really looks at the fact that Fallout 76 has had a lot of improvements and has gotten better. Not a lot of people do the same thing with Cyberpunk. I certainly don't. I think the base game in Cyberpunk is still pretty flawed, but that shadow is going to loom over The Witcher 4, and that shadow of Fallout 76 is certainly going to loom over Starfield with concerns about a bumbled launch, bugs, graphical defects, things that don't look right or work all that well. I keep saying if I get Fallout in space, I'll be happy, but I'm actually hoping for more now, because if they took this time and this care to make the game look significantly better than Fallout 4, the hope would be that the actual gameplay is also way better than Fallout 4. As always, check me out over on Reforge Gaming for live streams, and if you like these quick updates, hit subscribe and the bell button, and I'll see you in the next video. And I'll see the rest of you right now. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. That's the wrong scene. There we go. What in the world's going on? We were playing that video for the Open, and I wish I could show the Digital Foundry video sort of back to back. But what I can do is, like, you know, in its totality, what I can do is I can show you their video and go to just snippets and freeze frames. I can do that, okay? And I want to do that in this video. And they can't necessarily come after you for using screenshots, because a lot of what they're showing is B-roll anyway, right? So if you want to watch their video, okay, if you want to really compare what I'm comparing, it's called Starfield Reveal Analysis Next Gen Scale, but what about performance? So they are asking the same question that I'm asking. It's like, wow, you made a game that looks fantastic, but is that going to affect performance? For me personally, I did not think that Starfield looked that much better than Fallout 4. My memory of Fallout 4 was it was a pretty good-looking game, and this Starfield game looks pretty nice as well. But when you start to see the comparisons that these guys run, I'm actually going to try and do something here. I'm going to open the video and have it at multiple places just so I can freeze frame. I don't know if these guys don't play nice. I don't know if that's something that they do, you know, because some guys, they're gonna be that way. They're gonna be pretty harsh if you play their content, you know. I would say they're probably safe, but I'm not risking it. So we're just gonna be showing some screenshots and some freeze frames here. I first want to look at the world, then I want to kind of look at the characters, because I think those two things in my memory, I did not have a very good or accurate memory of how just dramatically different and significantly better this game looks. Starfield is a significant upgrade. Now, the sad thing is I was wrong about just how good the game looked, but this sort of actually adds to some of the groundwork and some of the fears that I have about performance. The fact that they've got draw distance set at just unbelievable levels. They've got so much detail in the game, and I think that's going to potentially cause some significant problems, because you're talking about just a massive amount of stuff that has to look really, really good. So, Soldier Boy, I can't criticize a movie without being the director. Gamers are acting like Siskel and Ebert. Everyone's a critic. Like, can they make anything better when they can't just be a spectator? I actually don't agree with that. Yeah, I think you can critique things. I can critique TV shows, movies, and video games as a connoisseur of those things. I consume them. I've consumed them since I was a child. Like, you know what I'm saying? If you've been eating, or let's just say you've been drinking coffee for 35 years and you've tried 1,000 different types, I would imagine you develop a pretty good palate for, you know, talking about how good coffee tastes. It doesn't mean automatically you are, but the more you've tried, the more you've consumed, I would think you are in a good position to talk about those things. That's the same point I was making, but for the gunplay. You forgot how bad it was in Fallout 4. Starfield was an improvement, but it improved from a 3 to a 5. Right, like, that's the real question, is until my thumbs are on the sticks, is that gunplay going to feel like you're saying? Like a very marginal improvement, or is it going to be huge? Yo, what's good, Feed? I see you in the chat. Digital Foundry are great people, but I imagine they won't play nice. They work hard and will want to preserve their content on their channel. Yeah, they don't seem like a channel that would be like, that's totally fine, you can react to our videos. Like, they seem like the kind of people that be like, yo, no, you ain't allowed to do that. Like, it 100% seems as though that would be a conflict for them. They would say no, they don't want you doing that. And so I'm getting some good freeze frames for you guys here to really see just the differences. And just landscape alone, I am impressed with this game. And there's now I know people have said things about like the colors seem drab, but I'm gonna get these things set up first and foremost just so we can compare the world, right? I don't care about anything else. I just want to be able to compare the world and how the graphics look in these games. And I thought that Digital Foundry did a wonderful job. So good morning and good afternoon and good evening to you. Welcome to another day here on Reforge Gaming. If you've never been here before, we do discussions and breakdowns, and I do a talk show all throughout the week. I am safe for work, so if you've never been here before, a lot of people treat me like a video game podcast or like video game radio. They throw me on in the background of their day, and because I'm safe for work, you can subscribe in confidence. We will be trying something today with From Friday. We're going to get back to our roots of From Friday primarily being about gameplay, since Elden Ring is a bit on a downturn of there's just no news, there's nothing really going on, and we want to have that opportunity to do something a little bit new with that. And we'll be doing a first playthrough of Demon Souls. The Elden Ring no summons run just kind of died in relevancy. I've had some people say, hey, some of that was because you took 2 weeks off. Well, the two, episode 11 was weak, but so were 9 and 10, and that's just kind of the way that it goes. I think many people in the From Software community considered my no summons run pretty pedestrian, not that hardcore, and not that interesting. So we're going to try and move on. Now, we did make a change. We are no longer going to Reforge Radio in the afternoons. We felt like that channel and that show wasn't unique enough to warrant that. So the Reforge Roundtable will be on this channel going forward, and members will get a little after show members only thing where when we're done with the show, you can hang out with me and Mike and Ginger for a little bit. That is going to be a new thing that we do every day, ending with some sort of a segment for members. We think that's far better to focus our attention on than going over to Reforge Radio every day. Reforge Radio will live on in some way, but right now we think it's time to focus on Reforge Gaming and the growing membership that we have here. Help us grow that membership a little bit more. Give some members or become a member today so you can be a part of Community Game Night tonight and all the festivities. 3 bags of light roast, Reforge Roast, our first sale of Reforge Roast for the day to Cal Skirata. Thank you so much, Cal, for doing that. Appreciate you so much for doing that. Good morning, Jay Murph. Demon Souls is a good idea. I hope you guys enjoy it. So let's do some comparison here. So if you're tuning in, Starfield gameplay, I was wrong. Well, what was I wrong about? Well, my impression was that it looked about as good, if not a little bit better than Fallout 4 with the character design and the world design. Well, I was wrong. The world design and character design is significantly better, and I mean significant, like a stark difference, a massive amount of difference between, and I am going to show you a couple of shots from a Digital Foundry video. Now, none of this is anything that they can come after me for, because these are just stills from their video. We are not going to be doing a reaction to their video because we're not sure if they're cool with that. So I thought, you know what? Let's just show the stills to show you This video changed my mind. Let's see if it'll change your mind too, okay? So first up, I'm just going to show you 2 shots of Fallout 4 and how they do draw distance and shadows in the open world. You will see there is that generic fog out there in the distance kind of coming out of the trees at the base of the mountain, but you will notice the trees themselves do not have shadows after you get maybe 30 yards out. You know, right here in front of you, there's shadows. As soon as you get about 20 yards out, there's no shading, there's no shadows, there's no significant detail. It gives it a sort of copy-paste feel. We looked at a Halo. Comparison, and Halo did something very similar. It sort of looks like the trees are just dropped on the landscape because they're not impacting the world in any way. We have another one here, very similar. You'll notice right up front, real close to you, you see some shading. You see now this out here is actually water, okay? And if I could play the video, I don't want to play the video. I don't want to take the risk. It doesn't look like water, okay? This is actually a good-looking game for the time, but I think many of us thought, yeah, Starfield is the same engine. Starfield's going to look a lot like Fallout. And again, this is a Digital Foundry video comparison that changed my mind and thought, actually, no, this doesn't look like Fallout at all. This actually gives me hope about the gunplay, because one of my primary concerns was that the Starfield gunplay was going to be pretty bad. It looked like that stiff, not so fluid, not so impactful Fallout 4 style gunplay that I didn't find all that particularly good. And this gives me hope that the engine has really changed. I'm going to show you some screenshots from Starfield in a moment, and I think it's so important, okay? I think it's so important to look at these comparisons because it will show you. I think sometimes we forget just how far things have come. So let's do that now. So this is we're going to do one more look here. We're going to do one more look at Fallout 4. Got some trees, some draw distance, some lack of shading, some lack of detail. Okay, here again, similar scenario. This doesn't look bad, but now let's look at some Starfield footage, or actually screenshots. Okay? In my mind, this is absolutely incredible. Like, look at these trees and the foliage and all that. The foliage, right? Foliage, however the frick you say it. Aluminium. And then look at this. Like, look at the detail. Look at the lighting. Look at the textures. Look at the absolute difference. Look at the draw distance. The way the lighting is hitting the rocks and the way the shadows are actually working out there, okay? I'm not done yet. I got some more to show you. Look at that. Like, that looks like a freaking photograph. Look at this photograph. DMC incoming. Look at this photograph. Like, it looks like a photo, dude. And then look at this. Now, you might say, well, you're using super bright settings as opposed to, you know, what you're using. These are like really bright, almost oversaturated photos. Well, look here. This entire landscape is lit up, and you can see a marked difference in the graphics. Now, again, I said that this game looked like, I think here's an even better one. I said, oh, it looks like Fallout 4, like the characters look as good as Fallout 4. We're going to do a character comparison here in a little bit. And I'm telling you, I was wrong. I think this looks 10 times better than Fallout 4. And the reason I'm saying this is because much of the debate and the discussion that is centered around this game has harkened back to eras where people say that Skyrim was so bad that the community had to fix it, or that, you know, Fallout 4 was so bad that the community had to fix it. And while I will admit that both of those games had issues and had their bugs and their problems, and they certainly earned Bethesda the name Bugthesda, I don't think they were as bad as everybody has stated, okay? Yeah, 16 times the detail, that's right. It's also on better hardware. Bet it looks like Fallout 4 on the Series S. Well, that's a whole nother discussion and a whole nother concern, Cliff. I've been waiting for more info to come out about that. You know, now Barrier says, It's still barren and drab. Yeah, welcome to space, Barrier. It's not going to look like whatever dance club you were in last night. It's going to look like open fields and mountains and planets and plants and stuff. Like, that piece of feedback is the one that I just don't get. I don't know what exactly people expected. The variety and the difference. And that right there, what do you want there to be out there? What do you want to find? It's a space game, right? It's like everybody points to No Man's Sky as because it's a space sim, and they're like, that game gets it right. And I'm like, but if it graphically looked like No Man's Sky, everyone would say, oh, it just looks like a carbon copy of another game. Where a lot of the game will probably have performance mode for Series S and X, where a lot of detail falls off. Possible. Welcome to space, right? I don't want to go now. No dance clubs. That'll be your review, Barrier. You know when they put those reviews, they flash up. It's like Starfield. It's like 4 out of 10. No dance clubs. Barrier. Owner of a cute deep fryer. I mean, that looks like Dakota Badlands. Looks like Dakota Badlands. I actually said this in one of our videos, Teddy. I was like, I actually like that it looks sort of like Earth. I think that's kind of cool that it looks photorealistic familiar, you know? Yo, good morning, Raging Snake. Not enough space dance clubs. Could not identify 10 out of 10. Right, so if you're just tuning in, the Starfield gameplay reaction that I initially had, I'm saying I was wrong. I think this game looks way better. I thought it was like marginally better or like slightly better than Fallout 4. We're going to look at the character comparisons here in a moment. We've just now been looking at world comparisons. If you look at Fallout 4, this is from a Digital Foundry video. I'm not playing the video because I don't know how cool they are with reaction content, so we're just looking at screenshots. But when you look at the way they did detail and world and lighting and shading and shadows in Fallout 4, and you do a nice side-by-side immediate comparison to Starfield, it's undeniable that the game has come significantly far. Now, this is important for a couple of reasons, okay? I am one of the people that immediately said, it looks like Fallout 4 gunplay, and Fallout 4 gunplay ain't that great, okay? It ain't that great. It's super, you know, sloppy, clunky, whatever. If they made these levels of improvements in the engine, I am holding out a little bit of hope that the gunplay will also then feel significantly updated and upgraded compared to Fallout 4, right? That's the thing. It's superior to a 10-year-old game that wasn't considered the peak when it launched. How will it compare to other modern games today? Well, right. So compare this to other open-world games, and I think it stands up. I think the graphical fidelity of these environments 100% stands up to any of the open-world games you can play right now. I'm just speaking purely at a graphical fidelity level. I'm not talking about fun factor, gameplay, or any of that, okay? That stands up. These images stand up to me. This footage from the game, if you play an open world game right now, one of the best ones right now you could probably play would be Horizon Forbidden West. This 100% stands up against that game and is toe-to-toe with it with respect to graphical fidelity. Zero doubt in my mind that if you put Starfield and Horizon Forbidden West side by side, you'd say, oh yeah, Starfield stacks up. It does just fine. When you talk about the engine, you are saying same engine as if it's the Creation, right? You're not saying it's Creation Engine 1 still. I don't think I've uttered the word same engine this morning a single time. I don't think I said that. I never said same engine. I've been saying it looked the same, and the characters looked the same. I know they've updated the engine, sure. I don't know if I ever uttered the phrase same engine this morning. I wasn't commentating on that. I was commentating on my original reaction was it looks as good as Fallout 4 with the characters and the detail. My memory of Fallout 4 was that it was a great looking game, you know, and that the characters looked good. You guys remember when they unveiled the character creator in Fallout 4? That's pretty impressive, right? You know, that was pretty impressive that they let you have that level of detail on a character. Arch Enigma with 5 gifted memberships. Thank you so much. It's not an updated engine. It's a brand new engine. Oh, come on. Are we going to do this? Are you going to make me go and show how ridiculous that is to claim, Murph? It's not a brand new engine. They upgraded the existing engine. Almost nobody builds a brand new engine from scratch. This is Creation Engine 2, is it not? Meaning they almost assuredly used the base engine from the previous and upgraded it. Lemuel Roberts and All Wrestling Network and Charlie and Solanto all got gifted memberships. Make sure you're here tonight, okay? Make sure you're here tonight for Community Game Night. If you're a member, you're going to want to get in the Discord. YouTube does a terrible job of putting members-only content in front of you, so make sure that you're here. Fall Guys is free on every platform, so get it installed. Only members can be a part of tonight, so decide to become a member for $5 or maybe gift some members. And if you got a membership recently, make sure you're here. It's going to be awesome. Yo, a 5 spot from I Am Thirdo. Thank you for the $5 tip through Super Chat. Just making sure it's the first Creation Engine 2 game. The engine was rebuilt from the ground up, but the characters are 10 times better. Look at the Fallout 4 characters versus these. Yeah, we're going to do that next. Sometimes I really feel like you guys have me on mute. I've said multiple times this morning, we are going to compare the characters. I have no idea what they did. Valve did the same thing with the Source Engine and the Source Engine 2. I just don't think that this thing was built from the ground. Do we have an article or an interview about this? Creation Engine 2. Creation Engine is a 3D video game engine created by Bethesda Game Studios based on the Gamebryo engine. The Creation Engine has been used to create role-playing games such as Skyrim, Fallout 4, and Fallout 76. I want details on Creation Engine 2. Starfield's trailer was made better. Creation Engine was confirmed by Bethesda. Like, where are you getting your details? Like, you guys are speaking as if you know, okay? Well, then point me to what educated you on that, right? What educated you on this? Where's the interview? Where's the details that you're telling me this is a brand new, built from the ground up engine? Where has that been stated? Because in my experience, when these companies do this, it's sleight of hand. It's the same dadgum engine. They just completely upgraded it, and now they're referring to it as Creation Engine 2, like it's 2.0. I'm not saying that's a problem. I'm saying we need to be accurate in what we're claiming and stating here. Where is this information about Creation Engine 2? Because a simple search just says Bethesda confirms they're using Creation Engine 2. Did they go into detail anywhere about what exactly went into that? It hasn't been stated because it's only upgraded. When engines are upgraded, the name doesn't change. Bungie updated Tiger every year, and it's Tiger 2, it's still Tiger. Not necessarily. There was an entire rename for an engine once, and it was still built on another engine. Tiger is literally built on another engine, and they renamed it. It's still built on the bones of another engine. Plenty of companies have done that. So the rename doesn't mean anything. I was told, 2 different people are telling me it's a brand new engine. It was built from the ground up. Where'd you get that info? I want to see it before I report it. In an interview, Todd and some other developers talked about how they completely rewrote the animation side of the engine and upgraded several other areas. Okay, if that's correct, if he said we completely rewrote animation and we upgraded several other areas, that means it's the same engine and it's been tweaked, updated, and rewritten in some places. It's not a brand new engine. Not to sound snide, because but I know because I know. I messed around with the Source engine years ago, and then Half-Life Alyx came out. I could feel the difference. Completely different architecture. All right, Eugene found a quote. All right. Flight didn't work properly during testing, and Creation Engine 2 is nothing more than a marketing slogan. It's just a creation engine with some modified graphics modules and a couple of new features. Not a rebuild or a true overhaul of the engine. This will become apparent once the game is available and modders will tear it apart. Todd Howard told the team, quote, "We make games, not development tools, but the tools are outdated and developers have plenty of them. Bad tools make bad games." That's what, the leaker, that's what the leaker said. So the leaker could be proven wrong. The leaker could be proven wrong when, let's get out of the screen for a second. The leaker could be proven wrong when the modders get their hands on it and say, no, this is a completely new engine, but the modders are gonna know. Now I'm mad at myself. Murph, I've been doing this for such a long time. That's why I immediately checked both of you. I was like, hang on a second. Whoa. Like, my experience with engines is not that. They renamed them, but they're still, like, that's what happened with Tiger. Tiger's built on the bones and the foundation of another engine. Building an engine from scratch is extremely rare these days. Like, who's doing it? Nobody's doing that. That's why I was immediately curious. I was like, wait a minute, what? Did they say that? Because almost nobody does that these days. Creation Engine 2 has 32 times the detail. Don't worry, it just works. There's a lot of Skyrim modders. At least all those modders can get straight to work. They'll be happy. Horizon Forbidden West is a narrative-driven cinematic game with a few days' worth of gameplay time. I'm not sure why you're saying that. Distorted says you only get a new engine maybe once every decade, and that's only if it would be beneficial enough to even do. Otherwise, you just update the tools and assets with the current engine. TJ Rage with a $5 tip through Super Chat. I used to think that Starfield gameplay was slightly boring, but after revisiting Skyrim, I have come to appreciate the simplicity of the Bethesda RPG. At least to my knowledge, the Source Engine 2 should be a new engine, hopefully, maybe. Listen, Murph, I'm telling you, like, you know I love you, but when you said that, I was like, that's why I immediately asked for sources. I was like, man, nobody does this. It's super rare. Even what you experience with the Source engine, sure. It probably felt like a completely different engine and architecture because they did go through and essentially rebuild the boat, right? But it was still on the bones of the previous engine. You were wrong about what? So my initial contention was that this game looked a lot like Fallout 4. The characters, the areas. I was wrong. Graphical fidelity in this game has been upticked significantly. I'm not doing the Fallout 76 16 times the detail. 16 times. I'm not doing that. We're literally looking at screenshots from a Digital Foundry video. And if you look at Fallout 4 with draw distance, shadows, shading, details, and then you look at the Starfield stuff, it's not even close. It's not even close. Black 4 is calling you guys out, saying 555 watching and only 171 likes. Come on, guys. Here, let me do a little commercial. If you've never been here before, I am a safe for work broadcaster. A lot of people put me on in the background of their day like a radio show or a podcast because I'm safe for work. So you can subscribe in confidence. I cover all kinds of gaming topics throughout the week. We also do reaction content and gameplay. We also have a podcast once a week called the Reforge Roundtable. That has come home to this channel, so we will not be going to Reforge Radio anymore. That channel will probably become something else. We feel it's time to really invest here. All live content here. More members-only content will start landing. Starting today, after the Reforge Roundtable, there'll be an after show just for members. And then tonight is Community Game Night. We're playing Fall Guys. It's free. Get it installed, all right? Get it installed, because we're playing tonight and you got to be a member. JW with a $5 tip through Super Chat. Thank you, JW, for a $5 tip. Get your memberships going. Gift some memberships. Let's get some members going. And we're breaking down why I was wrong about this game. Huge upgrades in graphics compared to Fallout. We're going to be looking at the character comparisons in a little bit. But I just wanted to show you guys, if you look at the scope of this game's realism and detail and lighting and compare it to Fallout 4, we're talking about a massive difference. And I was wrong. I actually thought that it looked closer to Fallout. Now, one of the reasons that I'm pointing this out is because I am concerned about the gunplay. And the hope would be all of the engine updates that they've done to get this level of fidelity and beauty has also meant that they have done a bunch of upgrades and changes to the gunplay, because I thought the gunplay in the trailer looked kind of bad, right? I don't think you were wrong. I mean, in my mind, maybe I didn't vocalize it enough. I was wrong. I was 100% wrong. Like, I thought it did. I did not think it looked this good. Are you talking to 10-year-old dudes today? I'm not sure what you mean, Veter. The comparison's making me crazy. Why is it making you crazy? I looked at the characters. When they showed the character creator and people were making fun of the characters in their faces, I was like, that looks as good as the characters did in Fallout 4. That's not true. They look 1,000 times better in my mind. You're right, says Murph. Things don't just spawn from nothing. They always have some sort of foundation. Even the OG Source engine was built from a heavily modified Quake engine. The Quake engine's everywhere. There's still pieces of the Quake engine in almost every Call of Duty. You know what I'm saying? Almost every single one. One game is cartoony with hyper-saturated colors like all Sony games, while the other is realistic with dark colors and impeccable art style. You do the math. Wait, like all Sony games? You mean like Demon Souls Remake, a beautiful masterpiece? You mean like Returnal, an absolute tour de force of next-gen graphics? You mean like Horizon Forbidden West? Yeah, they're so hyper-cartoony and overset. Shut the frick up. Shut the frick up with your dumb fanboyism. You sound dumb. You sound dumb, sir. And we don't abide dumb here. Well, we kind of do. There's a couple people that we let hang out that are dumb. You know, Abe is here, and, well, just Abe. But still, you know, you sound dumb. So, I want to get comparisons of the characters now. I want to get some comparisons of the characters now. All right, let me find that section of the video, okay? Let me find some sections of the video here. They start pointing out valley fog and draw distance, and I'm not going to show that section, okay? The backdrop reminds me. Here's another great screenshot. Look at that. Look at that. Comparing it to Fallout. Did Veter answer me? Why is it driving me crazy? What's driving you crazy about the comparison? Did he say? Did Veter answer? Veter! Of course they're better now. Yes, but here's something that's extremely important. It's important in your life even to do this, okay? It's important in your life to do this. Sometimes looking how far you've come is really encouraging, okay? If you slip and skin your knee climbing the mountain of life and you're trying to improve yourself and you're trying to be better and you kind of slip up and you make a mistake, okay? One of the best things you can do sometimes to encourage yourself to keep going and see how far you come, you turn around, you're like, oh my gosh, I'm 2 miles up. A 10-foot rock slide isn't the end of the world. Like, I can get back up and keep going, right? So yes, showing it versus a 7-year-old game, for sure. It is at one level a little brain dead to be like, it looks better than Fallout 4. But my memory, what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to break this shaded memory thing people do. My memory was, these characters look about as good as the Fallout 4 characters. I don't know what everybody's on about, right? Look at that. Look at that. And I was incorrect. The level of detail has been so significantly upgraded. It's good. It's good to see this. It's extremely good to see this because we can't abide these platitudes and these offhand comments. And what this also exposes is people's memory of Fallout 4 and Skyrim isn't super accurate. Mine wasn't super accurate, and mine was more accurate in the way, less accurate in the way of graphical fidelity. I thought the game was on par with a lot of what we saw in this game. So here, this is actually just directly from the trailer. So here you get a look at just what the game's going to feature as far as biome diversity and just that sense of exploration, right? Just absolutely wonderful work here. I get people are like, I think the planets are kind of barren and kind of empty. What I don't, and so I don't know. Maybe people were expecting something entirely different. I want to get to where they show the character differences, though, because I think that's incredibly important. I think that will really start to showcase certain things. They're showing a bit of Skyrim now. They're showing... I can't show the video because we're not too keen on whether or not Digital Foundry is cool with, like, reaction content. So, this is good. This is good. This is just a screenshot of Skyrim. So, you can see how good Skyrim looked. Like, Skyrim is actually... Jiminy Christmas. Is that a mod? I don't have audio. They might have a mod on. I don't know about that. That looks... game was ahead of its time. I realized that I just did the whole Xbox is better blah blah thing, defending the thing without actually thinking about it. It's okay, Murph. Everybody does it. Everybody does it at least once, right? You got a good batting average. Sometimes you miss the ball. My only issue is that when I hear 1,000 planets, it makes me think that they are going to be pretty bare bone planets. 100 planets might be more filled. I don't know. Okay, JW, thank you for the 5 spot. Okay, so the planet thing. All right. Here's the thing. He also said you'll know if a planet is just totally barren, and you'll know if a planet's got good content and things for you to do, right? He said that in an interview. So, to me, it sounds like they have made sure that you don't have that negative experience. They don't want you going to a planet and being like, what the blank? There's nothing here. What a stupid, giant waste of my time. You see what I'm saying? Like, that's not... I don't think they made 1,000 planets so they could be like, yeah, man, we made 1,000 planets. He said the 1,000 planets was because they wanted to give you that sense of freedom where if you felt like it, you could go to any planet. You're like, well, that's a barren ice ball. Well, I'm still going to go over there. Jonathan with the... I don't know what that is. Is that a 5 spot in American? Forbidden West is one of the most beautiful existing games. It's the measure of games of this generation. Hugs from Argentina. Don't cry for me, Argentina. I'm sorry. That's a terrible joke. Thank you for thank you for the tip. I actually have said, Jonathan, and I've gotten some pretty strong disagreement about this. I have said that Horizon Forbidden West is extremely close to the ceiling of what we're going to see from this generation of consoles. I've said that, and I'm going to stand by it. I think Forbidden West, Returnal, and Ratchet and Clank, I think they're all right there at the ceiling. I don't think we're going to get much better than that this generation. I think if games consistently look that good, we're all going to be very happy. I don't think anything's going to come out and like blow Forbidden West out of the water. I don't think so. I think we're right at the ceiling. So, all right, we got to get to the characters here. I want to do the character comparisons. They're showing some of the shooting. The shooting is just bad. It just is. They've said, now they did say in this section of the video. So this is from Starfield, so I can show this. This is from the teaser trailer. They are showing that lighting and shadows in some of the earlier stuff was slightly better. They did say that. So it seems as though they're saying some of the internals and some of the lighting stuff might have been slightly downgraded when compared to the teaser, but they didn't point out anything that was like dramatic, like, oh my gosh, this game sucks now. We're not talking about like Watch Dogs levels of downgrade. Slight downgrades to lighting and shadows and how the light plays in the internal areas. Okay, here we are. Here we're gonna get some comparisons. We're gonna get some comparison video. Copy that. Okay, I'm going to go here, and then I'm going to go like this. What the F? Control V. Okay. Let's get that off the screen. Okay. And then we're going to get some comparisons here. Oh, yeah. Let's go. This is going to be good. We'll get you some good stuff here for the... Oh, shoot. I shouldn't have done that. Oh, I had all those screenshots of like the environments, and now we're gonna lose those because I've skipped ahead. Oh boy, that's a great example. That is just a fantastic example. I'm gonna leave the Starfield big ones up. I'm going to get you guys now a comparison. So if you're just tuning in, we're talking about Starfield gameplay. I was wrong. I was thinking that the characters were largely on par with what we have seen in Fallout, and I was, I think, just dramatically incorrect with my estimation. And the funny thing was I was kind of defending the Starfield character design and being like, looks just as good as the stuff we had in Fallout. Like, Fallout characters looked a lot like this. No, they did not. The characters in Starfield look significantly better than anything that we got in Fallout. And I know people are like, why are you comparing it to such an old game? Why are you comparing Starfield to such an outdated game? Because many people have said Starfield doesn't look that impressive. Starfield doesn't look like they upgraded that much. The characters still kind of look derpy. It just looks like it's going to be Fallout in space. Now, while I think that is probably true, that it will very much feel like Fallout in space, Chris just gifted 5 memberships. Guys, grab them while they're hot. We are pushing to 1,700 members. If we hit 2,000 members, we're going to do a Star Wars Episode 1 watch party with my wife. She loves Star Wars Episode 1, and I despise it. It will be hilarious. We have ways to do it. We have ways to do the watch party that's totally legitimate. It's a Chrome extension. You just need to be subscribed to Disney Plus, and then you can sync up and watch with us. We will stream our own audio reactions, and oh, they do a comparison here to the Fallout, but that's frame in frame. That'll I think that's good. Okay. So we're ready to do the character comparisons. I'll get to that in a moment. Big Wheeze X, Memeified Bruh, Kellinator, and Nightfall. You guys all just got gifted a membership. Make sure and thank Chris. Chris just gifted 5 memberships. Thanks so much for doing that, Chris. Our stretch goal of 2,000 subs is still possible. If we hit 1,800, we'll unlock another emote. We may have just hit 1,700 members, which would be the most we've ever had on this channel. You guys just continue to rise to the occasion. We are at 1692. Ganks upgraded to Tier 2. There's plenty of reasons as a Tier 1 member to upgrade to Tier 2 now that we're reinvesting in this channel and really going to start giving you more members-only content. We will not be going over to radio anymore because we think it's better to give more content here. Radio was a small experiment. We went from doing like political discussions back to gaming discussions, and then it just really felt like it was similar to this show in too great a degree to warrant going over there. I think I was sort of failing to give a new product or a very valuable product. Excuse me. Oh, I'm a fanboy, and I worry that they will mess this game up. Well, when they first started showing the characters, hey, somebody else ordered some coffee, some Reforge roast, a bag of light, and a bag of dark to Talica. I enjoyed it so much, I'm sending a couple bags to a friend who enjoys coffee more than I do. Talica, that is so sweet and so kind. Thank you for doing that. If you guys have never tried our coffee before, or if you have tried it before, you're going to want to look at the screen here because I'm going to show you the updated bags. Sometimes you lurkers aren't looking at the screen, so take a peek here. We have updated the bags, everything now under Reforge Roast. When I get back in town after the 4th of July, we will have a whole new web presence for you, and so I will be taking a short trip. So we'll be doing a half week next week and a half week after that. So we'll be gone for a teensy bit for the holiday, but next week you'll still have me for a couple of days. Goku with a $5 tip in Super Chat. In No Man's Sky, the universe size was the selling point. In Starfield, it's only the setting. The selling point is still the RPG mechanics and the immersion. Yeah, I haven't thought of a good way to push back on the planet thing, other than to be like, Todd said you're going to know if it's a good or bad planet, right? Does it taste good? People in chat can tell you how good the coffee is. If you are a coffee drinker and you have never had coffee before with balanced acidity, you should check out Reforge Roast. It's the same base flavor. We have a light roast and a dark roast. I would try one of each. It's fantastic. It makes for a great cold brew. People make iced coffee with it. The balanced acidity just makes it so incredibly smooth. I put a little bit of Italian sweet cream in mine. I think that pairs really well with it, so be sure to check that out. So let's look at some of the character comparisons here, because when the Starfield trailer first hit, so when we first got our first look at Starfield gameplay, many people started criticizing the character designs and saying, here we go again with derpy Bethesda-looking characters. And again, I'm doing this to shatter your memory. I think many people's memory of Skyrim and Fallout 4, I think many people have shaded or jaded memories of these games. I understand I'm comparing Starfield to a super old game, but I think people need to see this. I think the Digital Foundry video did an excellent job showcasing just how much they've improved the level of detail in their games. This is not some sort of, Fallout clone or whatever. I'm a coffee snob, Abe says, and it's honestly the only coffee I drink now. I've brewed in a Keurig, an AeroPress, a French press, Chemex, hot ice, cold brew, works in all methods. Thank you, Abe, for saying that. JW upgrading to a tier 2. A lot of you guys that moved your membership to radio or have a membership on radio, a lot of people are kind of circling the wagons and just upgrading their membership here. You get to cut in line for community game night. Well, not cut in line, but you get a guaranteed spot. You get in first. Just so you know, a lot of games are procedural generation, like Nemesis system is procedural. Yeah, I'm not really worried about that or commentating on procedural today. So here are some Fallout 4 characters that really showcase that at the time this did look great. I actually think they deserved high marks for these, for these characters and what they looked like. But when you look at this, okay, this character out of all the characters is the one that everybody kind of zeroed in on. All right. I can't tell you enough how wrong so many people have been about the character design in Starfield. Look at the hair. That's the first thing you should look at. Sorcerer upgrading to tier 2. Thank you so much. So many people at tier 1 going to upgrade to tier 2. It's going to be first come, first serve for the community game night tonight in Fall Guys. And I'm going to put the private server code in the VIP room first in the Discord. So tier 2 members get into the VIP room. That's where you can get like codes to games if I have extras to give away. And that's where I will put the code for the private server tonight. So that is a literal night and day difference. Everybody was memeing on this character because she looks a little glassy-eyed. She looks a little like slightly cross-eyed in some of the screenshots that people got. But it is absolutely a massive step up for Bethesda. So I don't think you should be buying into internet meme culture who's memeing on this one particular character when this was Fallout 4 and this is what we have now. It's the comparisons. It's honestly comical that people are being negative about these characters. Liquid Smoke with a 15-month milestone. Welcome back. Thank you for renewing. Happy Friday, brother. Glad to see the channel thriving. Premium spot for all gaming news. And also, when you get mad at Elden Ring. Thank you, sir. And then Cough Cool's upgrading to tier 2. These tier 2 members, they're protecting their spot for tonight's game night. They're like, man, I'm upgrading. We are going to bring back the video game voting in a unique way. I'm going to start curating a list of games for Madam and I to play on Friday nights. And tier 2 members, you'll be able to vote what we play. So if you want to influence Friday nights with my wife, that's another benefit of being a tier 2 member. From what I've seen of Starfield, it's a day 1 purchase. Fallout 4 characters, kind of hot, not going to lie. Always wanted to get, oh gosh, with the wax figure. You're being strange, maybe. Black skin in gaming always looks real. I wouldn't say it always looks real, but there is something about the darker palette that makes the skin texture more visible. I think it's because this is what I think happens. When you have a light skin and you hit it with a light source like that, you don't see the texture as much because the skin is already light. It can tend to wash the skin out. When you put a light source on his head, nose, cheek, chin areas, and even his lips, you see the texture pop significantly more. So the darker skin palette receives the light, I think, in a better way. For a good example of this, just look at the textures of his collar, okay? So the top brim here, when the light hits it, it kind of washes out the texture of that. But look at the texture of the black leather. The light hits it, and you can see the texture more. Mr. Glum gifting 10 memberships. That's 1,700 members, putting us just 100 members away from another emote. Co-Korea, Michael, Option, Mean Dave Cranberry, Moonbreaker, Claxor, CR, Hawk71, Noi, and YOLO. Guys, every single one of you, please make sure and thank Mr. Glum for those gifted memberships. That's so kind to do that. Get in there because I can't tonight, Mr. Glum says. If you got gifted a membership, you really want to get in the Discord, make sure you're here tonight at 8 p.m. Eastern. You're going to need to come to the channel. I will ping you with a community post that's members only to remind you about tonight, but it will not put members only content in front of you on YouTube. You've got to come and find it, and a great way to not miss out on members only content is to be in our Discord server or follow me on Twitter at Reforge TV. ACG made a response to the 1,000 Planets concerns. Maybe you could react to it. We have a reaction suggest room in the Discord. It'd be great if you guys started using that. I'm trying to find good videos because I'm actually wanting to find videos that I would disagree with. So what we're doing right now, Sandy with a $20 tip. That is so generous, Sandy. Thank you so much for that. You've been so kind to me and the fam. Naboy with a $5 tip through Super Chat. God of War Ragnarok is coming June 30th. The Snitch tweeted about it. He's a reliable leaker and 100% accurate. It's not coming. Well, it'll be a state of play, and we won't be able to cover it. I'll be out of town. I'm extremely bummed that that's how the timing shaked out. A 15-month milestone from Sandy renewing her membership. Thank you so much, Sandy. Welcome back in. Guys, welcome to Reforge Gaming. If you've never been here before, I'm a Safe for Work broadcaster. We're usually in this scene doing a talk show. And a lot of people throw me on in the background like video game radio or like a video game podcast. And they do that because I'm safe for work. You can subscribe in confidence. If you haven't hit subscribe yet, we cover all kind of gaming news. We do reaction content as well as gameplay here. I've reacted just this week to Mr. Matty Plays as well as Dreamcast Guy and Alana Pierce. So those videos are available. We've reacted to Asmongold and Young Yeah. And thank you, Abe, for hitting a 16-month milestone and for doing a Tier 2 membership. Ragnarok was still delayed, though. No, it wasn't. Thank you guys so much for supporting the stream. Let's go for 300 likes on the video as well. Hitting like is free, and you guys could be smashing that like button to death right now. Sorry I couldn't chat earlier. What about Red Dead Redemption 2 graphics? Those are really good. I think Red Dead Redemption 2 graphics were kind of ahead of its time, but I'm telling you right now, this and this is great for the time, but people who were memeing on her and the character design of Starfield, I mean, come on. You just look silly. Yo, Legend Status with a 2-month milestone. Welcome back. Thank you for keeping that membership going. Can we compare Outer Worlds NPCs to Starfield's? I could do that. You want to do that? I could do that. I mean, I'm mainly trying to dispel the notion that this idea that these characters didn't look that good in the trailer, okay? People were saying that these characters didn't look that good. They felt that they were like, you know, they were kind of memeing on them. They were kind of making fun of them. And I was like, no, and I remember saying, oh, I think Fallout 4's characters are actually pretty good. You know, I think they actually look pretty good. Yeah, I would say this is comparable to Outer Worlds NPCs. I would say these are comparable, right? Wait, hang on. I'm going to have to do something different here. I don't know if it's going to show up quite right. It's not going to be quite right. So there's an Outer Worlds, and there's an Outer Worlds. And then let's get a good one from Starfield. Let's get him. I think he's probably one of the better looking characters. His texture on his collar and his face and everything, and then compare. Yeah, I would say it's even an uptick from Outer Worlds. I would say these are improvements. Personally, hang on, I need to drag this back. I need to drag that back. Okay. Yeah, I would say it's an improvement over Outer Worlds. Not by much, but still, I think it looks better. I want to see a side-by-side with 76. Why would you not compare the newest work to the most recent? This is odd to me. Because Digital Foundry was showing where many people were going is they were saying Fallout 4 was a buggy mess and the characters look sort of derpy and da-da-da-da-da-da. There's no reason to compare it to Fallout 76. You and I both know that Fallout 76 is basically Fallout 4. That'd be a waste of our time. And the Digital Foundry video changed my mind. Fallout 76 is not, there's no reason to compare to that, because Fallout 76 is literally Fallout 4. Like, they're the same game. They didn't, the 16 times detail or whatever was just a bogus line. It's the same game, it's the same engine, it's the same assets. Agreed, mostly same assets, but it's still 3 years newer. Maybe, just maybe. I don't know. I don't want to get agitated here, but this was what changed my mind, and that's what the basis of today's show is me and what happened and what I watched, not me going and trying to find Fallout 76 footage. Like, I don't know, maybe let me do the show the way I want. Maybe that's what we should be doing. I'm extremely excited for Starfield. I think more people comparing to NPCs from Horizon Forbidden West. No Bethesda games ever launched buggy. That's not anything I've ever been in contention with. I've never been in contention with the idea that they don't launch buggy games. The reason that I wanted to show these comparisons today is twofold. Number one, this particular video changed my mind, right? It completely changed my mind on, holy cow, I was defending these characters saying they look just as good as any Fallout characters I've ever seen before, and that's not true at all, okay? When you compare these Fallout 4 characters to these characters, it's not even remotely the same. I also compared the worlds and the detail and the trees and everything else. But I'm doing that because, number one, it changed my mind, but number two, I'm attempting to dispel the notion that they haven't significantly stepped the game forward. So many people were saying, you know, it looks mediocre. It doesn't look like they really improved the game that much. It looks like it's just going to be Fallout in space. And part of what I'm doing is, I played Fallout 4. I didn't play Fallout 76. So again, this is part of the narrative of why I didn't compare it to Fallout 76. I played Fallout 4, and the gunplay in the Starfield trailer looked like Fallout 4 gunplay, which immediately concerned me. Yo, Jimmy Page, named after one of the greatest rock stars ever, gifting 5 memberships: Chief Keys, Brian, Clone, Vices, and Hamoud. There you go. Guys, make sure and thank Jimmy for those gifted memberships, just pushing us a little bit further. I'm not bagging on your choices. I'm asking why Digital Foundry did it. It seems odd to me that they would choose a game with the same assets, but it's 3 years older. There's a reason there somewhere. No, I don't think so. I don't think there's a reason. I don't think Digital Foundry is playing some sort of PR stunt for Starfield. I think they're saying this is the game. Fallout 4 was hailed as a good game. It was buggy, but it was hailed as a good game. It was also one of the pivotal games for character creation and what the character design looked like. It was praised as a good game. So let's compare the two, right? Let's compare the two. Look how far the games have come. They even showed a bit of Skyrim in the video too. Should they not have done that? Like, I think what they're attempting to do is they're saying, listen, like I said a bit ago, the reason you look down the mountain is to see how far you've come. And this video dispelled the notion that, like, man, Starfield is just going to look and feel a lot like Fallout 4. No, it's not. No, it is not. Fallout 4 is the one that I think more people were looking to as the archetype, as the skeletal structure of Starfield. Why? Because Fallout 76 is like some quasi-multiplayer thing. Fallout 4 is their last great RPG that they created. If you guys are okay with it, I just find it an odd choice. I think it's odd to split hairs over it and create some kind of weird, like, passive, sinister plot. I think that's more odd than them deciding to go back to Skyrim and Fallout 4, 2 RPGs that were hailed for their world creation and character design, and say, let's compare these to Starfield. Fallout 76 doesn't even enter the picture in my mind because, number one, it's multiplayer. Number two, it's so similar to Fallout 4, and it's not hailed as a good game. So it makes sense to be like, well, let's go back and look at the games that people have said are amazing. Let's go back and look at the games that changed elements of the industry and say, listen, You think these games are good? You think these games looked good at the time? I, for one, did. That was the thing that was like in my mind in the comparisons. I was like, Fallout 4 looked fine. It looked good. And my memory of it was shaded. It was like, it looked good for then. It doesn't look good now, you know? I think it's weird to assume it's just a sinister plot, not just a question. When I compare people's work, I use their most recent efforts. But that wasn't the purpose of this. The purpose of this was next-gen scale, right? Starfield reveal analysis, next-gen scale. So what they're doing is they're saying, let's go back to their old-gen games and say, here are games they made, right? There might even be some Oblivion in this comparison. I can't remember. So they go back and they say, listen, these are the old-gen games. These are the games that changed the industry. These are the games that people remember as being really good RPGs from Bethesda. I don't know if they have New Vegas in here or not. Probably not, because that wasn't them. And they said, let's compare it to the world building and the graphical fidelity now. Let's compare it to the character design now and see how far they've come. Fallout 76, being the most recent title, doesn't have any bearing on saying how next gen does this game look when compared to their old gen games. The purpose of the video is not to say, let's compare it to their most recent work. The purpose of the video is to say, did they pull off a truly next-gen experience? Like, is it going to look and feel like a next-gen game? Fallout 76 is their most recent title. If you compare those two, are way more alike than anything else Bethesda. The creatures in combat with 4 major cities surrounded by fallout debris. So, your contention is that I'm going to look up Fallout 76 NPCs, and they're going to look dramatically different than the NPCs that we just looked at in that trailer. So I'm going to pull up Fallout 76, and I'm going to see a massive difference between it and the Fallout 4 images. You think so? You think that's going to happen? Really? What? Am I supposed to be seeing anything here? It's the same blanking game. Like, there's no, like, what are we doing? What are we even talking about? Like, it's the same game. Like, it's the, now if you want to talk about skeletal structure of like, there's like 4 cities or 4 planets or whatever with cities, and there's, you know, this open world or whatever, and there's like 4 planets with 4 cities in outer space, and then all these other planets, right? Asking why you thought Digital Foundry. I feel like I gave a pretty good explanation of why Digital Foundry did it, right? I think they did it because the purpose of the video, Starfield's recent trailer has revealed the true next-gen scale of the game, so it seemed the right moment for John Linneman to jump in with an analysis of what we've seen so far, from early resolution and performance metrics to what we can glean about the game's graphical tech and design. There's plenty to get excited at this early stage, but also a few areas of concern. Now, you have to understand something. We're not reacting to the video, okay? We're not reacting to the video, and something that they did in the video, yeah, it looks like the same game to me, Barrier. Thank you. Like, it looks like this, it looks like the same game. So I think we're missing aspects of the video because we didn't watch it. One of the first things that they do is they start circling pieces of the screen, and they say, there's this out in the distance, and there's this right here, and there's that. So what they do is they just do a graphical breakdown of Starfield. They do it when they're inside the corridors, they do it when he's shooting, and they do it when he's out in the open world. And so they do like that graphical analysis. We're missing that because I'm just showing you screenshots, okay? So I don't want to give you the impression that this video that is, what in the frick? It's 16 minutes long. I don't want you to get the impression that this is a 16-minute video of them comparing it to Fallout 4. I think maybe you guys are misunderstanding because you haven't seen the video. Their video is not a comparison to Fallout 4 or even Skyrim. They're saying, here's everything we notice in the trailer. Here's all of the things that seem like they're really pushing next-gen fidelity. Now let's compare it to some of their really old games. because these games are the ones that are more well-known. Fallout 4 and Skyrim are pretty well-known, right? Yo, Halamoko with like a 5 spot. I don't know what that is in American. Thank you for the tip. Nothing about Starfield is next gen. Nothing. The animation's ugly and stiff. The texture looks blurry and outdated. Face animation looks like dead doll faces. No emotions. Gameplay is buggy and old. Yeah, I know. Look at that, dude. That's just those blurry textures. Look at that. It's so outdated. Yeah. Looks like a dead doll face, you know? Except not at all. So, what game do you think is outshining this character design? What game? I want you right now. You're arguing against an ideal. You're arguing with an ideal. Now, I'm not going to talk about facial animations, because facial animations in games are hit or miss. They were slightly better in Horizon Forbidden West, but they still weren't that spectacular. They were better, but there were times where it still felt a little, it still felt a little stiff, okay? Still felt a little stiff. So I'm not going to defend their facial animations. Their facial animations are okay. They're not spectacular. They're not excellent. They get the job done. Like, the guy's face moves, right? These guys' faces move. Hang on. I don't want to show the actual mashup, because then they might get triggered and be like, you showed part of our video. Okay? So this guy's face, that looks fine to me. That looks fine to me. Like, his lips and cheeks move in conjunction with each other. You know? It looks fine. It's not insane. It's not earth-shattering. It's totally fine. And what game looks better than this? What game are you playing right now that is blowing this out of the water? With now facial animations, I'll name a couple. Days Gone had some of the best facial animation I think I've ever seen as far as capturing the emotion of the characters. The Last of Us 2 had amazing facial animations, sure. But again, that's a narrative-driven game. And that's got to be in place for a narrative, story-driven game, not an open-world game with countless NPCs that you're going to be interacting with, right? Red Dead Redemption 2 had amazing facial... well, I don't know about the animations. Facial design was great, but I don't remember the animations in Red Dead Redemption 2. Yeah, Horizon Forbidden West had I would say, significantly improved their facial animations from their first game. But I'm supposed to hear that the textures are blurry and he looks like a dead doll. Like, what? What are you talking about? Wait. And people memed her. I think she looks totally fine. I thought I had another face. Where's the other guy? Yeah, this guy. Yeah, look at that, dude. Just no texture, blurry, dead doll, zero, like... What do you mean? Look at all the things in his clothes. Like, I honestly feel like some of you guys, you might need to see an eye doctor. I genuinely think that. Like, does everything look blurry to you? Like, when you go outside, can you read, like, the speed limit signs? Or is it just like a white blur? It looks ugly? Okay, so you thinking it looks ugly is subjective. You were making, like, objective claims about the textures being blurry. That's not, like, a subjective thing. You're actually claiming that the quality of the textures are blurry. That's false. Okay? That's not even true at all. Now, if you want to talk about facial animations, I'll be like, yeah, sure. These are pretty mediocre, average facial animations. You know? But to act like this character doesn't look next gen and looks like a blurry disaster, it's not even worth listening to compared to The Last of Us 2. Right. So, see, the mistake that you're making is a mistake that many people make, and it's made in ignorance. It's made in total ignorance. You don't understand game design. So, allow me to try to help you understand game design. When you play through a game like The Last of Us 2, in God of War Ragnarok, you are playing a game that is far more contained, far more small in scope with respect to like where you can go and who you can interact with. It's far more scripted. It's also a narrative-driven game. So, if that game had bad facial animations, if that game had bad character design, it would completely destroy the purpose and the function of the game. Now, when you go into a big open world game, some of those things will be sacrificed. Their facial animations won't be as good. Why? Because a lot of those things are automated, okay? They're not handcrafted facial animations and interactions. They're automated. Why? Because there is a significant amount of more audio lines, potential audio lines, the permutations of what they might say in reaction to what you have chosen in the dialogue tree. That creates a quality-quantity relationship where the quantity of interactions with the NPCs is significantly greater than any of the interactions you're going to have in a game like God of War or The Last of Us, because it's not handcrafted, scripted, and fully rendered. It's a literal character standing there talking to you. So when you're looking at this and you're saying, that looks terrible, and you're like, that doesn't look next gen, you're going to be disappointed for the next 7 years. I hate to be the bearer of bad news. You're going to hate virtually every game that comes out. You're going to be a stick in the mud. You're going to bum out every vibe and every chat that you go in. Because to say that these characters don't look next gen, you will be horribly disappointed from here forward. Nothing will please you. We've got some memberships to thank. Mr. Glum with a $5 tip. Beauties in the eye of the beholder. Thank you. Mick D09 gifted 5 memberships. Detective Seeds, Proto, Elu, Klatos, TMC. Hey, if I just called out your name, thank Mick D09 for your gifted membership, and be sure to get in the Discord, and be sure to be here tonight for Community Game Night. We're playing Fall Guys. You got to be a member to play. And a 4-month milestone for Sichuan. Thank you for renewing. Faces are the best thing we've seen. Everything else is a yikes. Let's get a train going. Choo, choo. It doesn't. It looks like Mass Effect Andromeda animations. Oh, I love when someone says something that can be falsified. Mass Effect Andromeda characters. Oh, this is going to be good. This is going to be good. It looks like Mass Effect Andromeda. It does. It look at how bad it looks. Looks like Mass Effect. You know? Really? Really? Go to the eye doctor. Are you serious? Really? Look at that meatloaf face, bland, old gen, dead-eyed stare, almost no detail, plastic Ken doll hair, and then look at this guy and shut the frick up. Shut up. It looks like Mass Effect Andromeda. It looks like Mass Effect Andromeda. Yeah, that's what it looks like. Look at that. Shut up. Go get your eyes checked. Jiminy frickin' Christmas. People like you are tiring. Looks like Mass Effect Andromeda. Stop counting for Starfield. Let me do you a favor. People like you, even though you gave me money, you're not allowed to hang out here. Because you're just a vibe killer, negative Nancy who does nothing but hate on games, and you can find somewhere else to hang out with. I don't mind having disagreements with people, but folks like yourself, you're far too axe grindy to hang out here. You exhaust me with your lack of intellectual honesty and your absolutely just lowbrow nonsense commentary. Check the settings and swap to 1080. I'm not sure what you mean. The guy looks like Marlon Brando, Don Corleone. I want to make an offer you can't refuse. Your train impersonation was poor, but your Halamoko is top notch. You really just called out the ponies. They all act like that. No, they don't. There's plenty of people in here that are huge fans of Sony that are not. Number one, when you use the word pony, it says more about you than anybody else. Like, you're literally in a chat room calling people ponies. Like, really? Really? Is that the depth of your intellectual contribution to the conversation? That hollow guy could have been watching the stream at 240. Yeah, is your internet so bad that you're watching the Starfield trailer or my stream at like 240 like resolution or whatever? You know what's so funny too? This is what I love about thoughtless gamer dialogue. I love this. If you're in here right now and you're like triggered by the fact that I'm defending Starfield, just wait a couple of days, because when I defend something Sony does, I'll be called a Sony pony. Ooh, just riveting dialogue and just dizzying intellect. It doesn't matter what I'm talking about. Someone always goes down to like the bottom barrel of human thought capacity and is like, well, you're only defending this, or people are only hating on this because they're a pony or an Xbot. You know what's funny? You're worse than what you're conceiving of if that's the way you always frame everything. Like, you're actually worse. Whatever you're conceiving is a Sony pony or an Xbot, like that, whatever conception you have in your mind, that's the sad irony, is you're worse than whatever you think they are. Console fanboyism is literally the lowest level of gamer intelligence in existence. It just is. You're not an intelligent person if you're just a console fanboy. You just aren't. You don't have any original thoughts. You just parrot what you probably saw on some fanboy subreddit where you hang out. You truly have a dizzying intellect. Did you like that reference, Talica? I'm glad somebody caught it. Is there going to be a survival mode? I don't know. They haven't said anything about a survival mode. That wouldn't stand to reason. It's an RPG. You know what I mean? I buy all systems every generation. I also work for Microsoft, but I play everything. Yeah, I have every console in my house. I have every console in my house. I don't understand people. They're like, oh, what? What do we say? What do we use for Nintendo? We don't use anything from a Nintendo. Have we actually ever met? Wait a minute. Have we ever met like a hardcore Nintendo fanboy? Have we ever done that? I don't think so. You know what? They're probably just having fun playing on their Nintendo Switch and capturing Pokemon and, you know, marrying waifus. I don't know. Like they're never here. They're never here. I don't know what to call them. You know? We call them children. That's good. That's good. That's pretty good. That's not bad. What if a gamer is a legitimate fan of a specific console because of the games that they produce? I suppose that isn't a fanboy? No. You have to understand, when I say fanboy, I talk about people that come in and get tribalistic and nasty. Like, you can absolutely love your Xbox Series X. You can unplug it at night and sleep with it because your wife left you years ago because you got a Halo tattoo, right? You can do that. I don't care. But when you come into my chat and you want to talk about Sony ponies and Xbots and, oh, all the Sony ponies are going to be so mad when this wins Game of the Year. Shut up. No one is looking at this game and saying anything they're saying. You understand that Bethesda existed before they were bought by Microsoft? Do you understand that? A lot of what people are saying, a lot of the valid apprehension, a lot of the valid concern about Starfield has nothing to do with Microsoft. It has everything to do with Fallout 76 and the bugs in Fallout 4 and the bugs in Skyrim. Now, I've gut-checked some of those because people overstate it. They act like Skyrim was so broken, the community had to fix it. Shut up. No, that's not true. Fallout 4 was so broken, the community had to fix it. Shut up. Shh. Stop it. But it's completely valid to be apprehensive and concerned, to be like, yo, dude, Bethesda's known for nonsense. 16 times the detail, and it just works. And Todd Howard can wear the coolest leather jacket he wants, but he said things that sound ridiculous once the product's out. All that that happened before Microsoft bought the company. So when you frame the discussion in fanboyism, it just shows that you don't know what you're talking about. You don't know what you're talking about. Because every piece of dialogue I've interacted with about Starfield has had way more to do with Bethesda than Microsoft. So shut the frick up about that. It has nothing to do with the conversation. It has nothing to do with the narrative. It has nothing to do with Starfield gameplay. Any of the concern or worry has not a single iota to do with Microsoft or Sony fans hating on the game. It's because Bethesda has a reputation. They're literally a meme in some circles. People just meme them. A $5 tip from Tame Cyber. Call mobile gamers phonies. I'm sorry, I'll lock myself up as that was terrible. I liked it. That wasn't bad. Where's my Sega Genesis homies? I didn't catch the name. I don't know what you'd call them. Boomers? Excuse me. Once Xbox got them, they've become hated. Bug this, bug that. No, that's not true, Triz. No. You seem like a nice guy, but that's not true. No. Fallout 76, man. Come on. They have been mercilessly shredded and criticized and made fun of and memed since Fallout 76. Homie, you just gotta look. 16 times the detail is a dadgum meme. The monetization that they tried to pull off in 76 got absolutely viscerally shredded. They were trying to charge people money for a broken game. Like, you want some DLC? It's like, what? Huh? No. Fallout 76, man, that's where it all came from. People were like, look, bro, we look past the bugs in Skyrim and Fallout 4 because fundamentally they were really good games. They were. We look past that stuff. But what is this heaping pile of steaming trash? What is this? That's why all the hate is there. That's why all the criticism's there. Listen, you're going to catch me throughout the week checking people who make big, broad, unfounded, big, broad, unfounded, platitudinous statements, right? Fallout 4 was so broken, the community had to save it. Shut up. That's not true. Shush. I'm just going to start shushing people like a librarian. Shush. Shush, shush. That's not true. It wasn't that broken. It wasn't that bad. Neither was Skyrim. Okay? But I will give quarter and platform to people that are going to be like, listen, man, I'm worried. Skyrim, Fallout 4, both launched with bugs and problems. It took a long time for some of those things to be fixed. Some of them never even got fixed. And Fallout 76 was a disaster. And I know When Is Dinner, great name. When Is Dinner is like, Fallout 76 was not made by the same studio, Austin was new. Do you think that matters to the consumer, my friend? Do you think that matters? They see Bethesda's name, they see the Fallout brand. You think anybody gives one iota of crap about that? If somebody bought Fallout 76 after Todd Howard presented the game and said it had 16 times the detail, you think anybody gives a single flying frick that some other studio made it? I appreciate your contribution to the conversation. I think it's important to point that out. But do you think that consumers care? Do you think people that are apprehensive or concerned about Starfield give a crap about that? They don't. They're like, you walked out and you sold me a product that was super bad. I don't care who made it. Your name's on the box. And your man himself walked out and said this. I appreciate what you're saying. It does alleviate some concern to be like some smaller other studio. Have you seen any of the details coming out about Fallout 76? Todd Howard barely helped with it, and nobody wanted to work on it, and a lot of people that did end up quitting. That's all great information, but the consumer doesn't give a rip about that. They don't. what I'm doing here is I'm really trying to establish and drive home, this has nothing to do with Microsoft versus Sony. It doesn't. Now, there is an element of Sony versus Microsoft, because Starfield was hailed as like Microsoft's next big game. I said it was Microsoft's next flagship. I thought they were going to kind of turn their back on Halo, and then it got delayed. So sure, the Sony fans started throwing confetti in the air because that's just something people do, and it's stupid. And after Starfield got delayed, I had to hear from all the Xbox fans about Ragnarok's getting delayed. Ragnarok's getting delayed. Okay. I can't wait to play it, and you probably won't show up. But the Bethesda reputation is well established at this point, and it's perfectly fine for people to be apprehensive and worried. The people who are apprehensive are almost entirely hardcore. No. No. Anybody who played Fallout 76 is likely apprehensive. You were wrong about what? I was wrong about the graphical fidelity of the game. I thought the graphical fidelity of Starfield was significantly closer to the graphical fidelity of Fallout, and it's not. Fallout characters were great for the time. They weren't groundbreaking or earth-shattering, but these characters have been memed on, they've been made fun of, they've been decried as bland, or some guy said today the textures were blurry and they look like dead dolls. Do you want to talk about blurry textures in a dead doll? Because that's right there. That's not what that is. That's a fantastic looking character. And so I also compared the environments. We went to some of these scenes here and just compared them to the draw distance and the shading and the lighting and the shadows in Fallout 4 and even Skyrim, and just showed, like, listen, man, I was wrong. I have concerns about the game. My biggest concern is honestly the gunplay. I think it's the gunplay. I'm not traveling to 1,000 planets anyway. You won't have to. Todd Howard said in an interview, you will know where the good stuff is. He said that. He said, if you want to go to a barren planet, he said, we really wanted to say yes to the player. They wanted to say yes to the player. So if you want to go to a planet, even though it's barren ice ball, go ahead. You want to build your summer home there? Go for it. We wanted to say yes to the player. But you're going to know that the good stuff's over here, the content's over there. He said that in an interview. You are not going to piddle away your time going to planets and being like, dirt, there's nothing here. Wish I would have known that. Like, you're not going to be doing that. A $5 tip from Brockchain. I love that. 1,000 planets and moons sound fantastic. I want to be able to get lost and create outposts in desolate locations. Should be amazing. Yeah, I think tons of people are going to do that. There are going to be people that make it their goal to visit all 1,000 planets. There are going to be people to do it. There'll be probably some YouTuber that does it. You know? Starfield Stan or something. I don't know. Go grab that name and just visit every planet. I won't ever watch the content, but, you know, somebody might. The casual audience is 100 times more forgiving than you think they are. Otherwise, you wouldn't see dog crap report games selling hotcakes every year. Okay. Here's an issue with what you're saying. When is dinner? Most game sales happen within the first 7 days, and a lot of those people that you're saying they just don't care, it's not that they don't care, it's that they buy into the hype, they pre-order, and then that's the end of the matter. There's no refund culture on console, not the way there's a refund culture on Steam. So, like, I get what you're saying, but, like, it's not like all these casual players out here are these mindless dum-dums that, like, bought Fallout 76 and they're like, this is great. No, they were like, this is trash. What is this? Like, Fallout 76 might have sold fine commercially in the first week, but it's not like the gaming community is just full of a bunch of, like, doe-eyed dum-dums that think every game is great. 76 did not do well. And even people that are not as hardcore as you, like, there's an element of truth to what you're saying. The people that are on YouTube right now in this chat talking, listening, and you're engaged, you're the 1%, right? The average gamer is not as involved and as informed as you are, okay? But the average gamer is also a moderately intelligent person that's like, this game sucked. They don't need to know anything more than that. I played Fallout 76, Bethesda game. It was bad. You know, they bragged about all this great stuff and it wasn't very great. And then Starfield's coming out. I would not be surprised if there's consumer confidence, even in the more casual player bases of Bethesda games. It's like, yeah, I don't know, man. They don't have a great track record right now. Last I checked, 76 has still had over 10 million players playing it. Isn't that the equivalent of a super successful Sony game? Wait. Fallout 76 has over 10 million players playing it. So you're using a what is that? Ongoing verb. Is that a participle? What you're saying, people 10 million are playing it or have played it. There's not 10 million people playing Fallout 76 right now. That's like Call of Duty Warzone numbers. No, there's no freaking way that's true. There's not 10 million monthly logins. You're not even getting 10 million monthly logins in Fallout 76. That's Call of Duty Warzone numbers, homie. There's 8,000 playing as of an hour ago. That's Steam numbers, but yeah. Last average for 30 days is 6,000. Yeah, you're not even... I guarantee you that Fallout 76 probably doesn't even have 1 million unique logins a month. Not even 1 million. I bet you there's not even 1 million unique logins a month. Mr. Glum with a $5 tip. But you can be informed like the 1% by subscribing to Reforge Gaming. That's right. 10 million and 10K are very different. Off by orders of magnitude. Yeah, I mean, they might have 10,000 unique logins a month. Maybe 100,000 unique logins a month. They're not even scratching. I would even bet they're scratching 250,000 players a month. I don't know what to tell you. Player numbers really don't back up your statements. Fallout 76 was literally the most played game on Xbox Game Pass a couple of months ago. I don't think you understand the casual community at all, to be honest. I don't understand the casual community at all. I'm just a dum-dum in a chair. Where are you getting player numbers to substantiate your claims? Where are you getting them? Going to Xbox's page and being like, it's the most played game. That doesn't mean anything. And you said that was months ago. So they have like a surge for a day when there was an update, and so they jumped to the top of the most played and then probably didn't stay there. Like there is literally no way that Fallout 76 is even getting 1 million unique logins a month. There is literally no way. There is no data center with that information claiming that. No one's claiming that. I guarantee you. I don't know where you're getting your info, but like, you can go to Steam charts and see how many people are playing it. And do you expect me to believe that those numbers are quite literally a drop in the bucket and there's 10 million people logging in on Xbox? There's only 20 million Game Pass subscribers. So I'm supposed to believe that 50% of the Xbox Game Pass subscriber base is playing Fallout 76 every month? Remember Sea of Thieves on launch? It was bad. 30 million total players right now. Top 5 sales on Steam a week ago. Casuals allow games to come back. Oh, golly. You're real bad at this. Oh, man. No, bud. I shouldn't say bud. That sounds condescending. I can say you're bad at it because you're not doing a good job. That's a measurement of your argumentation. I'm not trying to insult you as a player, but your argumentation's horrible. Homie, Sea of Thieves Steam charts, their all-time peak is 66,000. Their all-time peak is 66,000. They have seen over the last 6 months in Sea of Thieves a reduction of average logins from 30,000 down into the 18s and 10s. No, those Sea of Thieves numbers are so disingenuous. They have had a total of that many people log in and play Sea of Thieves. But Sea of Thieves is not, they don't have 30 million total players. 30 million people have played Sea of Thieves since it launched. But that's not representative of an active player base. You're taking cumulative numbers and acting like they're concurrent. There's a giant difference between a cumulative number and a concurrent number. I could look at my channel and say, I have 16,000 subscribers. That's a cumulative number. That's not a concurrent number. Concurrently, right now, I have 600 viewers. This stream has accrued 4,500 unique views. Do you see? So you can't just throw out a number. 10 million people are playing Fallout 76. Steam charts don't equal Xbox Game Pass. I don't give a blank about Steam charts. What? But oh, it's hard. You have to understand something. Steam charts are not the entire player base. They are a barometer of the player base. They're representative of the trends that are happening, okay? So, there is literally no way that there are 10 million people playing Fallout 76 in a given month. Do you have any idea how ludicrous that claim is? There's only about 20 million people on Game Pass. Do you know how absurd it would be? This Fallout 76 would be one of the most successful games in history if 50% of the Game Pass audience was actively playing 76 every month. Do you have any idea how successful of a game it would be? What their server infrastructure would have to be bonkers. You're talking about Call of Duty Warzone numbers. Even Warzone's dropped into the 8 and 9 millions of monthly logins. You're talking about that's nuts. There's no way. You don't even understand the enormity of your claim. You're not even on the landscape of basic understanding of player base numbers. You understand that peak current numbers are literally low for every game ever, even for Steam. Peak concurrent number is like 1 million at most. Bro, you don't need to explain player behavioral patterns to me. I studied a player base for 5 years with respect to daily logins, concurrent numbers, and active users. You don't need to educate me on those things. You made an absolutely massive claim that 10 million people were playing Fallout 76. Now, if you are trying to say 10 million people had downloaded it, who gives a frick about that? Who cares about that? You stated it. I checked it and said there's no way 10 million people are playing every month. You said, I don't think you understand the casual player base, as if what you said was true. And then you said 30 million people were playing Sea of Thieves. See you later, Veter. Then you said 30 million people were playing Sea of Thieves. And I said, wait. You're using participle language, playing, meaning playing, as if they're playing right now. And they're not. They are not. The way you substantiated your claim was the Xbox page that said it was one of the most played games a couple of months ago. Dinner, where does he live? Oh, he's not in the... We're in the West. He's probably out. He's probably out across the ocean. You're talking concurrent numbers and acting like they're the only thing that matters. We don't have numbers on monthly active users. Neither of us can tell. Now you're reframing the discussion because you've earned no points. No, I'm not acting like concurrent numbers are the only thing that matters. You made two different statements that were postured and framed as if they were having a very active player base. And now that that's been shown to be insane and not true, you're like, you're acting like concurrent's all that matters. No, I'm not. You made statements that sounded insane. There's 10 million people playing Fallout 76. No, there's not. You're acting like all that matters is concurrent players. Wait. You're the one who said that, not me. I didn't say that. You said it. You said, I don't understand casual player bases and how they keep these games going. And then you said 30 million people playing Sea of Thieves. No, there's not. So if you're trying to substantiate the claim that casual players just play these games and just keep supporting these games and keep playing these games, you failed to substantiate that claim. There's 36,000 people playing right now, apparently. You need to move the comma, homie. 3.6 thousand, maybe? On Steam? I think you're looking at the number wrong. It's not 36K, it's 3.6K. 100 million Xbox Live players? Stop it. That's not what we're talking about. The reality is no one cares about Fallout 76. It flopped hard and the game is bad, period. I pushed back on the notion that, well, casual players are just stupid. Well, maybe he didn't say stupid. Casual players don't care. They're not hardcore. They just kind of keep on playing and supporting these games. And I thought, no, I don't think so. I think the average casual player booted up 76 at launch and said, this game sucks. And then I got pushback that X number million of people are playing Fallout 76. And I said, that sounds absolutely ludicrous. There's no way that many people are playing every month. And I was told I don't understand the casual player base. And then I was told similar things about Sea of Thieves because I don't understand the casual player base. And when the claims couldn't be substantiated because they're quite literally some of the most ludicrous claims I've ever seen about player base numbers, I was told that I'm acting like all that matters is concurrent players. If you move the goalposts anymore, you're just going to leave the ball field. We didn't do a poll today. If you guys are enjoying the banter, the dialogue, and the back and forth, this is what we do, right? I do my best to not insult or be rude or condescending. What's good, Weed Man? But I will come at your claims and your statements and your arguments pretty hard if you're making statements that just are either tacitly false or just fanboyism or tribalism. We don't give a lot of quarter to that here. So I don't swear, I don't curse. I'm a safe for work broadcaster. I try not to slam somebody as a person. I try to slam their argument. So if you're enjoying the conversation, you think this is good television, you think this is good radio or a good podcast, I'm here Monday through Friday. A lot of people throw me on in the background of their workday. Make sure and hit subscribe. Make sure and hit the like button. Sea of Thieves wasn't even a top 10 of the highest concurrent monthly players. The Sea of Thieves number they threw out when that trailer, I don't even care what they say. That game is not pulling numbers. It isn't. There is nothing to substantiate that claim. Not the way that Xbox ranks it, not the way that it ranks on Steam. Sea of Thieves isn't pulling numbers. I don't know why they're throwing those numbers out there. It just doesn't make any sense at all. It doesn't stand to reason. It's like, there's no way this many people are playing your game. Unless literally nobody's playing on Steam and everybody's playing on Xbox. And if that were true, it'd be at the top of the most played game every month. Oh yeah, we had to redo it. That looks good, Creature. The joystick's so good, too. Black Flag is better than Sea of Thieves. What? That's not even a comparison. Come on. Was that a blip? Did we have a blip? I didn't have a blip. Was there a blip? When you plan on watching Obi-Wan Kenobi, I want to hear your thoughts on it. I watched it. It's terrible. Some of the most disappointing Star Wars I've ever seen. We don't talk about TV shows here, though. It just sidetracks from gaming conversations. Even if you watch it as a non-Star Wars fan, it's poorly written, poorly directed, pacing's terrible, not so great acting. All the best pieces of it are shaky because they're standing on a terrible foundation. So even the parts that I was like, that was awesome, it's standing on a freaking wobbly deck of cards of B-level directing and writing. 76 people are playing 76. That's what I do, says Lethal Lady. I listened to your dialogue during my workday. Watched a video essay on the humanity of The Last of Us yesterday. Video game talk gets me through the day. Oh, well, thank you, Lethal Lady. I appreciate that. What game do you want the gunplay to feel like? In Starfield? Don't make me say it. Don't. Why would you make me say it? Not gonna talk about it. Can't help myself. I'll give you a drive-by, but I don't want to have a discussion about it. So I gave you my drive-by thoughts, but I don't want to discuss the show. I want the gunplay in Starfield to feel as close to Titanfall and Destiny as possible. That's what I want. That's what I want. I said 30 million total players. No, you didn't. You said 30 million people are playing. That's not what you said. Go back and read what you said. And I pressed on the word playing multiple times. I said it obnoxiously. Playing. Playing. I literally made like a goofy face. They better have gunplay like the ray gun from Call of Duty 4. Somebody's saying Doom. Doom gunplay wouldn't necessarily fit in here. Titanfall and Destiny are two of the greatest... They're two of the greatest shooters in existence. I want it to feel as close to that as possible. So 6 inches away from their head and still have to hit. Whatever you have to do to blame your deaths in PvP, Butters. You know what I'm saying? I don't care. The gunplay feels great in those games. What's so hard to grasp that Black Flag is a better pirate game than Sea of Thieves? That's all I said. It's not hard to grasp. It's an awful comparison. Because one is an open-world, cartoony pirate sim game where you literally live the life of a pirate, and another is an action-adventure Assassin's Creed game that tried to create a hybrid between pirate life, ship battles, and stealthy assassinations. They're not even remotely the same. So, yeah, you can prefer one over the other. That's fine. To make a qualitative statement, which is what you did, that one is better than another, it's just silly. You're allowed to like one more than the other. I'm not going to try and convince you that Sea of Thieves is great. I loved Black Flag, and Sea of Thieves could be great, but you can't say one's better than the other. That's just bizarre. That's like saying NBA Jam is better than Arch Rivals. They're completely different approaches at basketball games. And if you don't know the two games that I just mentioned, then son, buckle up. I'm just kidding. That's super condescending. I went back, though. I went back pretty far. NBA Jam and Arch Rivals that's OG. Ask your parents about those games if you don't know what I'm talking about. I agree with Titanfall 2 smooth AF, and the guns were actually good looking and feeling. Like, where is the boom in Starfield? Did you mean to say Bloom? He's on fire from downtown. That's right. The pirate game, blah, 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 to this pirate game, blah, blah, blah. Well, then, Sid Meier's Pirates is the best pirate game ever. Better than Sea of Thieves, Lamau. Alien Isolation, is it good? Tons of people have praised Alien Isolation. It didn't land on me. There are people that love that game. I didn't like it. I've never said it's a bad game because tons of people love it. I just did not like Alien Isolation. I didn't find it to be scary at all. I just felt like I was hiding in lockers all the time. And because you're interacting with the mechanic of, like, not dying, the fear goes out the window. I'm upset you didn't bring up Double Dribble. Well, I was trying to go to two very different approaches to basketball games. Mike! No good! Lono, a bit of an off-topic, if I may ask. I was wondering, after playing Sekiro, Elden Ring, Jedi Fallen Order... I like how you put E, Jedi Fallen Order. Is English not your first language? After playing Sekiro, Elden Ring, E, Jedi Fallen Order? Where is difficulty? Would you put them in Fallen Order? Fallen Order is the easiest out of the three. Boom! Shaga laga! I said 30 million total. Homie. They rang the bell and they held my hand in the air, man. The boxing match is over, bro. You're doing bad in your post-interview, you know? You're blaming the ref. All you've been doing this entire time is aggressively misunderstanding what I'm saying. Okay, it's all my fault. You're a great orator. Go start a channel and... I'm sure tons of people will watch it. Have you played Fallen Order on the easy mode? No. No, I played Fallen Order on the second to hardest difficulty, and it's way easier than Sekiro. Jeez, have you played both games all the way from beginning to end? Homie, play Jedi Fallen Order on the hardest difficulty. I don't care. Ishin is laughing at you. Ishin's just giggling at you, bro. Sekiro is easily the hardest melee-based game in existence. No doubt. Elden Ring is a lot more manageable, but Jedi Fallen Order is still easier than Elden Ring. You can put Fallen Order on the hardest difficulty, and it's frickin' tough, but it doesn't even come close to Sekiro. It doesn't even come close. Sekiro is in its own... It's just in its own world. There's nothing. There's almost nothing at the level of Sekiro. Sekiro was so easy, in my opinion. Okay, I'm never impressed when someone says, "Oh, Sekiro was really easy." Really, I beat almost every boss in about an hour, and Ishin took me 5. You don't see me flexing on how the game was easy, even though I moved through that game pretty quickly. It's still insanely difficult. I've beaten Elden Ring, but not Sekiro. You need Bloodborne. I've heard Bloodborne's like one of the most approachable in the group, though. I want to play Bloodborne if they ever do a remake, remastered 60 FPS. I just can't. I can't play the 30 FPS. Can't do it. When is dinner? It's over, bro. It's over. Just, it's fine. I zeroed in on you saying that there was a certain number of people playing Fallout 76, and then you used the same phrase. You said a certain number of people were playing Sea of Thieves. I zeroed in on playing, and you just kept arguing with me. So I'm sorry that you don't have a great memory about what you typed and what myself and everybody else zeroed in on. That's on you. So you got to drop it, or we're going to have to make you leave. Like, I can't do this. You're just disrupting the flow of organic conversation. We've moved on, okay? If you were talking pure quantitative downloads, you weren't substantiating your original point. So you're not making your argument any stronger right now. You're making it weaker. Because your original point was the games would be successful regardless because people were playing them. And I was like, but no, casual players downloaded it and said it was bad, which would lead to apprehension about Starfield. That was the original premise in the argument. Your premise was casual players will just play a game. They don't really care. They're not really dialed in. They're not hardcore, okay? You're not substantiating that claim. You are not substantiating that claim by pointing to Game Pass, Sea of Thieves, and Fallout 76 total download numbers. You're failing to substantiate your original claim. Even if I grant that we had a misunderstanding, your argument is still in tatters. So stop. Just stop. Not a top 10 on one platform equals a dead game. Now you're straw manning. I never said it was a dead game. My argument was pushing back on your premise that casual gamers were smart enough to know that Fallout 76 wasn't a very good game, and that would feed apprehension and shaken consumer confidence about Starfield. That was the original argument. You've moved the goalpost for like the 17th time. You're not good at this. This isn't my first rodeo, bro. I'm literally recalling the entire discussion from 25 minutes ago, and you're not. You're just moving the goalposts. I was never saying that Fallout 76 was a dead game. I was pushing back on the notion that Fallout 76 was... I actually was supporting the notion that Fallout 76 was the reason that people were apprehensive and negative about Starfield. It wasn't because Microsoft bought Bethesda. Bethesda had earned itself a reputation of lack of confidence and shaken consumer confidence because of Fallout 76. Your notion was that casual players didn't care about that and played the game and supported the game anyway. And you substantiated your claim with big, broad, sweeping claims about 10 million people are playing and 30 million people are playing Sea of Thieves. You lost. You absolutely lost, because the original argument has nothing to do with what you're saying right now. I never said it was a dead game. I never said it was a garbage game. I was saying that it's completely legitimate for people to be concerned and apprehensive about Starfield and has nothing to do with Microsoft because Bethesda earned its own reputation. That's what the original argument was. So no. I'm sorry I didn't realize... total number doesn't matter. Not to your point, it doesn't. Not to your point. The flow of the argument was folks were claiming that Starfield was getting hate because of Microsoft. And I said, no, it's because Bethesda has earned itself a reputation. I was pushing against that notion and supporting the apprehension and the lack of confidence. And then you said casual players don't care. And I said, I don't agree. Fallout 76 did very poorly, received bad reviews, and plenty of casual players were smart enough to know that was not the game that they were promised. So total downloads through Game Pass doesn't mean jack squat in the realm of what we were talking about. Consumer confidence in Starfield is shaky. It's not just YouTube hardcore Bethesda people that think that. So you can brag all you want about Sea of Thieves numbers that are unsubstantiated by any data tracking that I've checked anywhere, and you can brag about total downloads or total players for Fallout 76. It has nothing to do with consumer confidence for Starfield. Both of you stop. Want to talk about something else? This is my show, so I will do and say what I please. Like, I'll call you another flubby user. I refuse to call you fancy user because you're not fancy. See how that works? Is anyone else sour on CD Projekt Red? I personally will never play that game again. I went back when Cyberpunk did their most recent update, and it still had frame rate issues in the big areas, and the central content loop still felt mediocre, and what's supposed to make for great dialogue and narrative and characters and I'm supposed to care, it all just feels extremely subpar for what the game type that it's supposed to be. It doesn't feel supported by its parts. It doesn't feel supported by its parts. You make the driving feel better and you make the graphics a little prettier. I don't think... So, when they fixed the bugs and the problems in The Witcher 3, The Witcher 3 was supported by its parts. Great voice acting, great dialogue tree options, wonderful story, lots of action, things that you can do, things that you can enjoy, right? There was a good game underneath. Cyberpunk is mediocre to its core. It just isn't very good. It's not that it's particularly bad. It's just... For a game where I'm supposed to care about the characters and the decisions and the dialogue and the back and forth, it all just falls so flat. It feels so bland. Everyone talks very non-emotively, and the audio doesn't cue properly sometimes. You'll be sitting there, there's like 3 people in a room, and they're like, we have to get going! And then everybody kind of stands around. Some guy's like fixing his shirt. I know, dude! Like... It doesn't flow. It's a sloppy, mediocre game. Now I know, and the gunplay feels terrible. I know it did better on PC than it did on console. It's got like a 73, 76%, something like that on Steam. So like it was generally received, but a 73 or 76% on Steam for CD Projekt Red it backs what I'm saying. It's just a pretty mediocre game. Should be in the 80s. Easy. 80s or 90s. Cyberpunk should be in the 80s or 90s on PC. That's not a good score for them. I wanted that game so badly to fix itself, but I'm telling you, it's baked into the crust. It's just absolutely baked into the crust of the game. You can't fix it. They'd have to rebuild the whole dadgum game, and I think even they know that. I think they're going to deliver DLC, and the core audience will love it. There are people that like that game and continue playing that game. Core audience will enjoy it. But I'm telling you right now, Cyberpunk's basically done. It's just done. They're going to turn their attention to The Witcher 4. And you know why The Witcher 4 is going to be better? Because they're leaving behind their engine. They're switching to Unreal 5. And boy, oh boy, that's good sign. That's good news. It's very good news. If they would have said that about Starfield, I think a lot of people would think differently about it. Because I think people would have had more confidence in the tech upgrade. One of the things we talked about today, the thing that I was wrong about, is that Starfield looks significantly better than the stuff that Bethesda's made up to this point. It looks significantly better. But I'm still worried about the engine and the feel of the gunplay, because that's a fundamental part of the content loop. And the gunplay doesn't look that good. I think total numbers are better than concurrent numbers on one platform. Sue me. Well, no one ever said that concurrent numbers on Steam were that important. I said they were a barometer and an indicator of consumer interest. And if Fallout 76 was just being massively supported by tons of casual players, I don't know. I think there'd be a way to substantiate that claim, and I don't think there is a way to substantiate that claim. What characters did you not enjoy in Cyberpunk? All of them. They're all designed wonderfully, but the main male protagonist that I chose to play as, he sounds like he just woke up from a nap all the time. My interactions with Keanu Reeves, I couldn't believe how bad it was. I was like, do people think this is cool? Do people think this is cool? Really cringy lines with tons of swear words, truncatedly delivered. I'm like staring at him and I say something like, "Are you in my head?" And then there's this weird beat. And he's like, "Yeah, man, effity F." What? Who wrote this? Did some 13-year-old watch Pulp Fiction and think that this was cool? It's bad. It's so bad. I play games and the writing and the voice acting is excellent. And I go and play that game and I'm like, what is this? I don't understand. It's just so subpar. It's so mediocre. I don't get it. And I've been told that the lead female protagonist voice actor is significantly better, but who the frick cares about that? I picked the dude and he sounds like he's asleep. He sounds like he's asleep. 14-month milestone from Smashville. Is this new? Milestone message? No, it's been there for a while. I love Pulp Fiction. No, don't get me wrong. I love Pulp Fiction. Tarantino is a creative genius. But I always feel like younger teens would watch his movies and then they'd walk around and swear like crazy because they thought it was cool. Because his movies are known for the vulgarity. You just didn't meet Pan Am Judy Rogue and Jackie? You think that would have mattered? I'd have played through all of Cyberpunk, Black Superman. I'd have hacked my way through Keanu Reeves' character, my own boring character. And I'm like, yeah, the game's great now. I got to these two people. Hellfire with a 16-month milestone says, frick. Just Tarantino movies? It was just an example. I wasn't taking a shot at Tarantino. Jiminy Christmas. Give me a second. I'll be right back. Hit like, hit subscribe, become a member. Don't forget members only tonight, game night. We're going to be playing some Demon Souls today as well for From Friday and Reforge Roundtables today. Don't go anywhere. There's an after party, like an after show after the Reforge Roundtable podcast for members. I'll be right back. Don't go anywhere. Okay, I'm back. You know, Will Smith was supposed to originally play Django. Yeah, I remember seeing that. Yeah. One of my favorite Tarantino movies is Natural Born Killers. It's funny how the movie has become real life. That's not a Tarantino movie. I was like, wait a minute. It's not a Tarantino movie. That's Oliver Stone. Now, Story was Quentin Tarantino, but it's an Oliver Stone movie. Tarantino wrote it, but he didn't direct it. I typically have not heard that one referred to as a Tarantino movie, but I guess the writing, he wrote his other movies, so the writing style of Natural Born Killers probably feels a lot like Tarantino because he wrote the dadgum thing. But yeah, that's an Oliver Stone movie. I guess typically when someone refers to a movie as a so-and-so movie, they typically refer to the director, which is why I was like, huh? You're talking story-wise? Okay, no, that makes sense. Yeah. It was super similar writing style. Yeah. Woody Harrelson's a genius. I think Woody Harrelson's super underrated. I think it's sad how underrated he is. Because if you watch Natural Born Killers, and then you watch Zombieland, and then you watch True Detective, man, I think he's got such range. It's a shame he doesn't get more roles outside of what he's already done, because I think he could do an excellent job. I really do. He was not so great in Venom. That's not his fault, though. Finally had a real keyboard, can go back and have awful arguments. I can really participate now. Also, Zelda games are for children. I blame Cheers. He did such a good job that people think that that's him. Yeah, I forgot about Cheers. Yeah, he's great in that as well. Yep. So if you guys missed the discussion, this has been a really good day. A really great stream. 10 months from Table JFK. Thank you so much. My impersonation of JRPGs in a nutshell. We do a lot of different types of content on this channel, and we try to have those lively discussions. I hope nobody thinks that like I was being particularly like mean to anybody. That's just kind of what we do. We just kind of have fun here and get in hot debates. Hopefully nobody takes it personal. I've always said I have a ton of respect for people who stay in the ring, right? They debate, they discuss, and they're willing to go toe-to-toe. I always have a lot of respect for that. So I enjoy the discussions. I enjoy the back and forth. So thank you so much for that. I was pushing out the short for the day. We do shorts on this channel, but they don't hit your sub feed. It should just hit the subs shelf. You stepped on a Lego this morning? No. I've not stepped on a Lego. That was a fun discussion. Unannounced From Software titles in the final stages of development. That's going to be the mech one, isn't it? You Were Mean to Me. I kind of miss high blood pressure, Lono, TBH. What? Ouch. Sub just got here. What were you wrong about? We did some graphical comparisons. Well, we didn't. Digital Foundry did some... They did some graphical comparisons. And it was clear to me that I was thinking this game, Starfield, was like on par with Fallout 4 graphics. And it's like way above it. So I think I was underselling the game's quality. I am saying that I hope that means all the engine level work that they did contributes to a significantly better gunplay. That's what I'm hoping for. So, yeah, wait until. If you think Lono was being mean, just wait. That's right. Did you see the 11110? Yeah, it probably means there's going to be a Sony State of Play on the 30th for Ragnarok, and we're not going to get to cover it because I'm going to be out of town. You know. So what Pan Am and Jimmy did in the game that was terrible? Give me a scene. Oh, you're talking to somebody else. I was like, I didn't. Tell me a little dialogue, just one sentence. To be fair, Superman, I don't know who you're talking to, but asking them to give you actual dialogue and sentences as examples, I wouldn't be able to do that with my claims that the voice acting was mediocre and the audio cues didn't time right and the voice acting felt flat and lacking in emotion. I can't give you sentences. I didn't memorize them. So I don't know if they're going to be able to do that either. I don't know if whoever you're talking to is going to be able to do that. I feel like you're asking for an awful lot to substantiate their opinion. If you want high blood pressure from Lono, call him Bud in an argument. He's saying Pan Am and Judy were terrible. Right, but asking him to pinpoint exact sentences, I don't think that's a fair request, homie. Who the frick's going to be able to do that? Yeah, these guys were really bad. Can you give me direct quotes? What, huh? No, I don't. I thought they were bad. I didn't memorize their script. Sorry, I'm back. Phone died. Did I miss you covering Valheim is coming to the Microsoft Store and Xbox and will be crossplay with Steam? No, that wouldn't be something I would necessarily cover. That's just like an announcement. We can't really cover announcements here. That doesn't really give great discussion. You know what I mean? Like, I can't discuss an announcement. I can discuss what gameplay looks like. I can react. I can get opinionated. We can debate. We can discuss. But I can't be like, hey, guys. Now, we almost went No Man's Sky today because No Man's Sky is coming to Nintendo Switch. And in baked into that announcement is that there's going to be a physical remastered PS5 version. And I don't know why they're saying remastered. It's either a leak of something coming for the PS5 specifically for No Man's Sky, or they're using the term remastered and they shouldn't be because they did the next-gen update for No Man's Sky. That's not remastered. So if they're using that word and that's what it means, then whatever that is dumb. But I'm hoping it means they did something specific for the PS5. A $5 tip from Rice Eater says, calling Starfield graphics next-gen's a joke. TBH, 2014 open world base PS4 Infamous Second Son was better than Starfield characters. Thanks for the 5 spot. No. This is not a 2014 quality level character design. That simply isn't true. The open world graphics in this game are not. What would that be? 8 years old? No. That's a ludicrous claim. I appreciate the $5 tip, but your claim is laughable. Show us Infamous. What do you say? Infamous from 2014, Infamous Second Son. I'm trying to find a good screenshot. It's tough. Infamous Second Son characters? I don't even know what I would search for. Bruh. Yeah, man. It's real tight competition. You know, 8 years ago, compared to this. Woo! Winner by a hair! They're neck and neck. It's so close. It's just so... Man, oh man. Woo! Look at that 8-year-old graphical tour de force compared to this frickin' joke. Like, wow, man. I'm just daunted. It's scary. It's scary how good that looks. Do you guys want to look at another one? Here, there's another one. Here you go. You guys want to see another one? Holy, what? Whew. Look at that, chat. That is... It's just... It's hard. It's hard to compete with an 8-year-old game, you know? It's so tough. It's so tough, dude. Look at that. Yo, what's good, Rambo-sama? Don't zoom in? Well, I can't find very big images. Are people blind? I honestly don't know what the frick people are looking at. Look at that. Look at that. Look at that. What the frick is that? You just said that looked better? What's the matter? Like I said, get your eyes checked. Are you watching YouTube at 240 resolution? Right? Are you always squinting? Do you have a blindfold on? What are you doing? You just tipped me $5 to say that 2014 Infamous Second Son looks better than Starfield. It's it's literally a dumb thing to claim. It doesn't even make any sense. I can't find a single picture from Infamous Second Son to even come close. Look, here we go again. Here's another one. I don't even have to zoom this one in. That's a big picture. I don't know what's happening. They're either having a great time or a terrible time, but what are you actually talking about? Look at that. This is why side-by-side comparisons are so important, because you will literally say something that is just brain-dead dumb, and when you look at it side-by-side, you look like an idiot. I'm not saying you are an idiot, but I'm saying you look like one. You think that looks better than that. Just what on earth? It doesn't look next gen. So that doesn't look next gen. The dude's skin texture and the texture of the leather and the light reflecting in different ways off the shape of his face and the little metal pieces. But that, oh yeah, that looks better. That 8-year-old game right there. One of them is having a great time. One of them is having a terrible time. Yeah, we'll leave it up to you to decide who's having a good time here, who's having a bad time. Compared against Uncharted from PS3. I don't honestly know. I just don't honestly know if people realize. I don't think people realize. I truly don't think you know. That's Uncharted, Uncharted 2, and Uncharted 3. Hang on. Okay, that's Uncharted and Uncharted 2 and Uncharted 3. So Uncharted 3 is right above me, okay? It's actually pretty good. The hair's pretty good. That's not bad at all. But come on. Like, the level of detail has gone up. Level of detail's gone up in these games, man. Like, Uncharted better? Okay. Whatever. I'm telling you, we're back in that weird lane where people are making me sound like a fanboy. People are literally making me sound like a fanboy. You make an absolutely dumb, abhorrent comparison, and you make me sit here and defend what is just clearly great character design. They look great. You know, these look like really great next-gen characters. And people are like, not PS3 game. Look like a PS3 game. We pull up the PS3 game, and it looks terrible in comparison. At the time, it looked great, sure. Compared directly to Fallout 4 models? Yeah, we did that earlier. That's a Fallout 4 character. That's a Fallout 4 character. And then as soon as you get here, that doesn't look next gen. What next gen game are you playing? Order 1886 is also 2014. What image is that? Yeah, I'll give it to you that Uncharted 4 looks phenomenal. I will. It's a little bit of a different art style. It's also a fully rendered cinematic scene and not an NPC that you can walk up to, and their actual model in engine moves and does that. Like, it would be like comparing the character models in The Last of Us 2 to this game. It's just not fair. It's not a fair comparison because they fully render those scenes. They're cinematic scenes. Like, it's not... These NPCs are just literally standing there and you walk up and then this guy just starts talking in engine. Like, that's what he looks like in the game. You want to grab some cinematic scene or something from The Last of Us or Uncharted or whatever, and sure, they look phenomenal. They're amazing. In some respects, Uncharted 4 and The Last of Us 2 are ahead of their time. Their character model design is fantastic. But you can't compare narrative-driven, cinematically-driven, character-driven games to a giant game with hundreds of NPCs where they automate a lot of stuff. They automate the face movement because there's too many permutations of potential dialogue. It's a completely different approach to character design and character detail execution. Like... Exactly. The fact that it looks so good is insane. Go back to Skyrim. For the time, the NPCs look great. This looks even better. $2 from Rice Eater says, now try open world Spider-Man Miles Morales. Okay. So, Miles Morales looks next gen. I don't disagree with you. The characters in Miles Morales look great. They do. Let me see if I can find like just an NPC. It's hard because they do the same thing in that game, right? They do fully rendered cutscenes. So a fully rendered cutscene is not the same as an NPC that you can walk up to. So we would need like it's hard. Like I need a screenshot of an NPC in Spider-Man, and it's hard to get them. Most of what you're going to find are going to be like fully rendered cinematics. Because Spider-Man's a beautiful game, but I don't think the Spider-Man characters and the NPCs are... Is this one? Yeah. No, here's a good one. This is actually a good one. There you go. There's an NPC you can walk up to in Spider-Man Miles Morales. Are you done yet? You out of money, or you got anything else to say? I chose a bad one? It's an open world game with NPCs. It's an open world game with NPCs. Here's an NPC, here's an NPC, here's an NPC. I walk up to these people and they talk to me. What the frick are you talking about? I was told, yeah, check this other open world game. Well, look at that. That's not very next gen looking. One of the best-selling PlayStation 5 games in existence. Beautiful game. Magnificent game. There's an open world NPC right there. Zero detail on her face. Super bland lighting and shadows. Which is totally fine, because it's an open world game and I don't need that when I go and talk to her. We looked at Outer Worlds characters earlier, and the Outer Worlds characters were good. We all, not everybody, but we felt the Starfield characters looked better. And your PS5 is not like that? Not all the NPCs in Starfield are going to be at the level of the ones you're showing. But they're walking up to people that you can interact with. That's who this character is. Oh, wait. No. Here's a perfect one. Hang on. These people are using... This is like thumbnail stuff. Hang on. Copy image address. Let me reverse image search this and see if I can find a bigger version of it. Spider-Man, Miles Morales. Because I've got one of Peter Parker, and it's not a very big picture. 5 spot, LOL fail. All the shots you have in Starfield are scripted cutscenes. No, they're not. Not just ugly, non-scripted models we saw in Starfield. No, they're not scripted cutscenes. No. Again, false. Thank you for the 5 spot. They literally walk up to them. You can see the character before they start talking, and then they start talking. Have you ever played a Bethesda game? It's an in-engine interaction. It's not a scripted cutscene. What you're saying isn't true. You need to take into account that you're comparing Starfield, a game being played in PC with super high settings in this demo, against console game PS5 graphics. I'm not doing that! No! I'm not making the comparison! They are! I was told Infamous from 2014, Infamous Second Son looked better. I was told Open World Spider-Man Miles Morales looked better. I'm not the one that made the comparison. They did! Frick out of here with that! Pay attention! Jiminy frickin' Christmas. New topic, please. Shut the frick up. I'll talk about this for 10 hours if I want to. Here we go. No, look at it. Look, here we go. This is a good one. This is a main character. This is a main character right here. From Spider-Man. She looks great. She looks great. There's nothing wrong with that character. She looks totally fine. She doesn't look bad, but you'd be like, oh, it looks better. It looks so much better. You overpraise Starfield? Just admit it. Frick you and get the frick out. I don't overpraise Starfield. You've not watched any of my content, so shut the frick up and sit down. I do not overpraise Starfield. I do not abide people falsely summarizing my content, so shut the frick up and get out. I do not abide that. I do not abide that. I have done nothing but point out the performance problems, my concerns. The gunplay doesn't look very good. The gunplay seems like it's going to be Fallout-style gunplay. There's graphical pop-in. Right? I've pointed out all those things. But because I'm defending the game, this is exactly what I said a little bit ago, and you're proving it with your inane stupidity and your lame comments. People make me sound like a fanboy because they say stupid things. If you respond to a fool according to his folly, you become a fool yourself. You're making me sound foolish and fanboyish because people are saying dumb, absolute bottom barrel brain dead takes. It looks like a game from 2014. So I compare it. I'm like, no, it doesn't. Look at Spider-Man. No, it doesn't. You're making me sound like a fanboy. It's not my fault that people come in here and want to step up into the batting cage and get blasted in the face for saying something dumb. It doesn't mean I'm over defending Starfield. When you say something dumb, I'm not going to be like, yeah, you're right. You know, that just doesn't look next gen. And, 2014 game's better than this. We check out Order 1886 here. Pretty game for 2014. That has nothing to do with the conversation. Why are your Spider-Man shots blurry? We know it's 4K. Oh my gosh. Homie, I'm just doing a Google image search and I'm just trying to find pictures. I'm trying to find pictures. Like, they're not, it's not that they're blurry, it's that they're not huge. This one's pretty good. Here. I won't even zoom in on this one. Yeah, there you can see the new the old Peter Parker and the new Peter Parker right above me. Right above me. It doesn't need to be a 4K image for you to see the detail of his skin, his hair, his face is fine. There's nothing bad with this image. But to say that this doesn't look next gen and this doesn't look next gen is ludicrous if this is our measure of next gen currently. Do you understand? These images look fine. These images look fine, but if that's the measure of next gen, you can't sit here and claim that that doesn't look like a next gen character model. This is in-engine. You walk up to this guy and this is what he looks like. These are next-gen character models. I'm not fanboying. I'm not defending the game too hard. I'm not doing that at all. People are saying things that are just absolutely ludicrous. Like, I don't know if you're literally on the internet and you forgot your glasses or your contacts or you're running everything at 240 resolution, but Jiminy frickin' Christmas. But Spider-Man Miles Morales isn't next gen? You're like a Rolodex of ignorant comments. Yes, it is. It is next gen. What are you talking about? It was literally built for the PS5. It's a next gen title. I am Thirdo. Thank you so much for I think that's a 3 spot. I think he means it's cross-gen. What games? Okay, I'm putting this on you then. Because if that doesn't look next gen, you kept mentioning games that looked better, and we showed that was false. You're choosing all the bad picks. Everyone is telling that. How am I choosing the bad pictures? This is a promotional picture. Where did it go? Oh, shoot. I closed it. How is this a bad picture? How is that a bad picture? That's literally a nice, non-blurry freeze frame of the original Peter Parker, and then they're showing, whatever they did. They made him look like more like Tom Holland. But the one above me is the one I'm focusing on. There's nothing wrong with that picture at all. I don't understand. I'm not even saying it looks bad. I'm saying, where are these pictures from Spider-Man that look so amazing? It doesn't have that level of graphical fidelity in the character design. I've played both games. Why is it that hard for me to find a good picture then of the characters in Spider-Man? Why is it that hard? Here's an even better one. This is a huge resolution picture. I'm gonna have to zoom out. Hang on. And then I'm gonna go, I need to turn my other cap card like that. And then I need to go like that. Okay? That's great. That looks totally fine. That doesn't look any level of better than any of the characters that we've looked at in Starfield. That actually looks slightly under or at what we've seen in Starfield. And these are next-gen versions that they've done. These are the updates. This is the PS5 fidelity mode over here. Okay? That right there, the lighting on his nose, the textures in his skin, it doesn't look any different than this. It's next gen. It's a next gen character model. Good skin texture, good lighting. Like, I don't understand. You guys, see, you're moving the goalposts. It's so funny when people lose an argument, how quickly they'll move the goalposts. I was told that Infamous Second Son looked better from 2014. A laughable claim, easily disproven. I wasn't finding bad images. It's an 8-year-old game. Then I was told that Spider-Man Miles Morales looked better. And we just found images that are virtually identical to the level of fidelity and the skin texture and everything. Like, I'm interacting with claims that are bonkers stupid. And then you're like, you're picking bad pictures, or it actually looks good. I'm not saying that it looks bad. I'm not. I'm being told that this doesn't look next gen, is what I'm being told. Infamous being 8 years old, though, compared to this is not so impressive. Russell, oh my gosh, I'm not the one that did that. I'm not the one that made that comparison. Somebody else did. You guys are interacting with half of the history here. Someone came into my chat and said that game looked better. So I'm not being like false equivalency, fallacious dum-dum. Starfield looks great. Let's compare it to a 2014 game. No. Somebody literally came in and said that. So we compared the games. Like, I'm not the one that did it. That's why I said, it's like, you guys come in here and you make me sound like a fanboy when I have to defend Sony, when I have to defend Starfield, and I end up sounding stupid. Can you believe this guy? He's comparing Starfield to Infamous Second Son. That game's like 8 years old. Who would do that? I wouldn't do that. Pull up a screenshot of the guy in the spacesuit. I like that one, but I don't have it right now. I don't have that trailer up. I'm not the one that said Miles Morales looked better and then backtracked and said Miles Morales wasn't next gen. I'm not the one that claimed an 8-year-old game looked better than Starfield. I'm not the person that did that. I'm not the person that did that. I'm having to show base level comparisons to people to be like, what the frick are you talking about? The game looks fine. I'm sorry you have to deal with this. It's like I re-outlined all my concerns this morning. I re-outlined all of my concerns about performance, about gunplay. I outlined all those things. I actually have concerns about this game. They showed certain things and they talked about certain things, and elements of gameplay looked rough for a next-gen game. And I had people the other day we spent 30 minutes. I had people disagreeing with me that gunplay was pivotal and super important in Starfield. And I said there was no excusing it being mediocre. And I got told that I was being entitled. I got told I was being a hater. I got accused of being a Sony fanboy, and I was just needlessly hating on Starfield. It's like, what? No, it should have amazing gunplay. And what they've shown me so far doesn't look very good. And then today, I have to compare Starfield to a game from 8 years ago to show somebody that what they're claiming is asinine and idiotic. Like, stop making me sound like a fanboy. You know what I mean? Raise the water level in the room. The intelligence level of commentary has just been so low on some of this stuff. Like, what the frick are we even talking about? We're gonna go play Demon Souls in a minute. A $2 tip. Now, I never said Miles Morales is next gen, bud. I never said you did say it was next gen. It is a next-gen game. Like, again, you being stupid and wrong doesn't matter to me. You know what I'm saying? You've clearly shown to lack basic levels of intelligence. Miles Morales is a next-gen game. So, like, you know what I'm saying? We just showed the Spider-Man PlayStation 5 fidelity version of Spider-Man. It's a next-gen game. Current-gen, next-gen, don't be pedantic, Abe. It's next-gen game. Miles Morales was built for the PS5. It has elements of graphical fidelity that you can't run on the old systems. Same thing with the PS5 fidelity version of Spider-Man. You don't know what the frick you're talking about. If you're going to move the goalposts of next-gen to basically be no games in existence, then what's the point of even having the discussion? Apparently there are no next-gen games then. You just keep moving the goalposts. Well, I didn't say it was next-gen. Then what the frick is it? What is next-gen to you? Some fantasy land that we can't go to right now? What's next-gen? What's next-gen in your mind? Returnal will be exclusive next-gen? This is the problem with gamer colloquialisms, because people will use gamer colloquialisms as they see fit, with a form of special pleading argumentative fallacy. And they're basically, well, this is what next gen should be. This is what an MMORPG should be. And it's like, shut up. You're creating your own world so you can be right. Nobody looks at Miles Morales on PS5 or the PS5 updated awesome version of Spider-Man with that fidelity version. Nobody looks at that and says, well, that's not really next gen. No one does that. No one's doing that. You're only doing that if you're grinding an axe, which makes what you're saying just intellectually dishonest or disingenuous. Like you're not arguing in good faith. You're just saying things that you know deep down to be false. Like Miles Morales not being a next-gen game. You know that's not true deep down, which means you're not arguing in good faith. It's a race to the bottom, right? Companies do this race to the bottom for price because they want to get, customers. I swear people race to the bottom on the internet, and they race to the bottom of stupidity. Who can say the dumbest thing to get the streamer wound up and ranting? Returnal doesn't even have that good of faces. Oh, I don't agree with that. Celine looks awesome in that game. Her facial design's phenomenal. Her eyes are different colors. The way her eyes dilate. No. She is expertly designed. She looks great. She looks like a next-gen character model. She does. People will just tune in and see you comparing it without any context. You need to understand that. No, I don't. Nope. I don't need to understand ignorance and lack of charity. I don't. If someone can't take the 2 seconds to be like, why are you comparing Starfield to Infamous Second Son? Like, if you don't have the sense that the Lord gave a goose to be like, why are you making that comparison? If you're just going to jump to a conclusion and try to lambaste me, it's like 60 seconds ago somebody made the comparison and I'm showing that this is a silly thing to claim, right? The audience didn't fluctuate that much, homie. The guy tipped the money and I made the comparison and we stayed within 475 and 500 viewers. It's not like I suddenly had a whole new batch of 500 people. In-game, are you talking cutscenes? This is not a cutscene. This is Fallout. This is Starfield. That's what they do in the games. It's in-engine. You walk up to the NPC, he looks like this, and then he starts talking. It's not a cutscene. The interactions with the NPC and the Starfield trailer were just organic in-engine interactions. You're not doing a it's not a cutscene. That's why people started talking about like The Last of Us and stuff. And it's like those are all cinematic, fully rendered cutscenes. Oh, in Returnal? Oh, I don't know. Her face isn't that important in Returnal. What are you doing? Turning the camera on and like zooming in or something? In any of the cutscenes, that's where you see her face most of the time. You got to put on the one particular suit and like spin the camera around, so you're not really making a point. Returnal's faces? Whose faces? It's her. There's nobody else. She's not walking around talking to people. What about versus Star Citizen? It's hard because Star Citizen's got great texture for the metal. His beard and hair, I would say, are about equal. Skin texture looks very similar, maybe a little bit more flat and a little less textured. You know what I mean? I think Star Citizen looks very good, though. That picture that you put in Discord, I mean, it looks fine. Like, I didn't set out today to talk about the graphical detail of skin pores. I was saying I was wrong. This game looks significantly better and has come way further than I thought it had. And I had people telling me that it didn't look next gen and that it looked like an old gen 2014 game. And we in my opinion, we shredded that to ribbons. Compared to Fallout 76, it looks the same. You think Starfield looks the same as Fallout 76? Okay. Like I said, it's a race to the bottom, chat. It's just, I want attention too, and they just race to the bottom. What's the dumbest thing you could say right now? I've got it. A game built with all the same assets, graphical fidelity, and detail of Fallout 4. I'm going to say that looks like Starfield. That'll really get a reaction. Control looked just fine, but I already know I'm going to look up the character design in Control, and it's not going to look any better than what we saw today. It just isn't. I played Control. I've covered games for 8 years. Like, you're not going to slip one past the goalie. Like, what, there's some crazy, amazing, next-gen looking title that I forgot about that's like 8 years old? World Slayer launch balancing? We might have to check that out next week. I don't have time right now. I want attention. Tell you what the frick is going on. This game is such an odd... I'm telling you, Starfield's one of the weirdest not launched games I've ever covered. It's the weirdest game I've ever covered that isn't out yet. It's just bonkers to me. It's just bonkers. Genuinely enjoyed the heated back and forth and banter between you and chat. Good stuff. Thank you. If you're new, you'll notice I kept it safe for work. I get ramped up. I get passionate. That's just part of the television show. Okay, that's just part of the entertainment. All right. I hope you enjoyed it. If you're new and you've never been here before, you can subscribe in confidence because I am safe for work. A lot of people treat me like video game radio or like a video game podcast. They keep me on in the background of the day, and I got more content for you. We are not done. We are not done. I got more great content. I got a podcast with some friends of mine in a little while, but before we do that, we are going to do a brand new playthrough of Demon's Souls, and it should be... I don't know. We don't know what's going to happen. We do not know what's going to happen. Visual mode, we have it on performance. Okay, so we have this all set right. Well, actually, I might be able to put visual mode on cinematic for Demon's Souls because I'm playing on a PS5, right? Can you put it on cinematic or performance? Ratchet & Clank Next Gen. Yeah, Ratchet & Clank's Next Gen. Do you want to compare the detail of Ratchet's face to faces in Starfield? Because that won't be a complete and utter waste of time since they're completely different artistic-styled games with non-photorealistic characters compared to photorealistic characters, human characters compared to fanciful fantasy characters. Like, I don't even know what you're saying now. I don't even know what you're doing. Okay. To me, it just seems like a lot of PlayStation fans in here are just fuming. Are you guys legit that mad? They don't sound like PlayStation fans to me that are fuming. It sounds like you're projecting because, I don't know, you're in love with Phil Spencer or something. Do you have a Halo tattoo? Like, no one in here is doing anything to indicate to me that they are fuming. Right? It sounds like you're projecting. Like you want so badly for Starfield to be good, and you want it to like affect the emotional stability of PlayStation players because your emotional stability is tied to, I don't know, a video game console. Like, you know, it's not my fault that, like, it's just not my fault. Not my fault. None of this is my fault. It's not my fault, chat. I'm pulling the Han Solo. Like, people coming in with dumb hot takes about a game not looking next gen or looking like trash, I don't think it has anything to do with console wars. I really, really don't. I think Bethesda's an easy target for complete reductionist false statements to be made, you know? They seem mad. This is an opinion, homie. They don't seem mad at all, homie. There's a different emotional state going on. Like, I've been doing this a long time, and I feel like I can tell when people are being mad, grumpy, or weird, or whatever. They're not. They're being, like, persnickety snobbish. It's a completely different emotional state than being angry. Do you understand? I've been doing this a long time, and I feel like people did the same thing when Sony debuted Horizon Forbidden West. They did the same thing. They talked about how it didn't look that good, looked mid, the graphics didn't seem like a big uptick from the first game. It's like, you're just being persnickety snobbish. Shut the frick up. Like, some of these people were Sony fans, and they just felt like it doesn't look that good. It's just a gamer trope at this point. This gamer trope of, looks like crap. They could literally show real footage of people running around and claim it's the Unreal 5 engine, and people would say, looks mid. And then be like, we tricked you, negative Nancys. This is real life. This is actual real people. Like, it's just a gamer trope at this point. Like, it doesn't matter how good the content looks. It doesn't matter how good the gameplay looks. People are just like, it doesn't look that good. It's just a thing that people do now. It's just being a persnickety snob. It's just this, what it is. I tell you what it is. Getting excited about something is considered cringy now. It's cooler and more hip and more like whatever you consider yourself. Like, it's just cooler to be like a shrug-shouldered, like, cynical, nothing really looks good. If you get excited about something, you're a fanboy, you're cringy. So it's cooler to be like uninterested, unimpressed, like you're like aloof about everything. That's like a gamer trope now. It's just a trope. It's not, it's like, well, huh? It doesn't matter what you see. Nothing's impressive. Nothing's good enough. We're looking at characters that comparatively to the games we played up to now look phenomenal. And it just isn't good enough for people. And I go at it pretty hard. Because I just think the whole thing's silly. I think the whole thing's silly. We gotta move. I don't want this VOD hitting 3 hours. I'm going to put a link in chat. It's where we're headed. And after we're done with some From Friday with my fresh Demon Souls playthrough, we're going to do the Reforge Roundtable. It's a great discussion with friends of mine. Make sure you don't miss it. Demon Souls gameplay. First playthrough for me to kick off a new series for From Friday. Now, you From Software fans sort of abandoned the no summons run on Elden Ring. I get it. It was a little pedestrian compared to what Elden Ring people do. Really hardcore Elden Ring fans and players. Episodes like 9 and 10 started to kind of fall off, and then episode 11 was really weak. I was told, well, you waited 2 weeks. Well, even leading up to that, it wasn't doing that great, okay? We think it was a little too pedestrian. I also wasn't enjoying it that much. I'm going to bring people over from the stream this morning. We discussed Starfield.